save the day. Here I come to save the day. Here I come to save the day.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
What's good, everybody? AB Media 83 here, and welcome to Colosseum Daily. Today, we're going to be covering a little debate that I didn't know even knew happened. Just to give full context, because I'm sure those jackasses are watching. Scrolling through YouTube, and I took a look at the Shit Libs channel MOT. And I noticed on one of his videos, he's crying about how come the master isn't covering this certain debate that happened between Brian Donald and Gary Chambers. So I clicked it and I took a look at the debate, and hey, I think it's worth covering. So that's what we're about to do right now. And I think it's worth covering. And there are a few surprises in it. There are a few surprises in this debate, but this should be interesting. But that's what we're doing today. So without further ado, before we get started, if you want to come up, you can do so now. And watch this along with me if you want to. But we are going to go ahead and get this show started.
We can get right down to it. I want to thank my guests for being here. Gary Chambers on the left, Congressman Byron Donalds on the right. Y'all ready to get to it?
Just for context, Byron Donalds is a Republican congressman from Florida, and Gary Chambers is a civil rights activist from Louisiana.
Ready.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's get straight to the bag, guys. We're going to get straight into the conversation. We want to deal with the economy first. Let's deal with the economy. Howard University, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they did a poll that talked about Black swing state voters. The swing states, just in case no one knows, let me give you the swing states quickly. Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Georgia. Is Georgia in the house?
Georgia?
Okay, you're one of the most important voters. So the poll found that although the majority of voters supported VP Harris, 18% of Black men supported Trump because of his positions on the economy. Congressman Donalds, tell us why.
Because when he was president, the economy worked. We got to be honest about the facts. When he was president of the United States, our inflation rate was basically 2% throughout the entire time. Wages adjusted for inflation were rising. And that's the measure that really matters, wages adjusted for inflation. When you look at Black unemployment, it was the lowest time at any point in American history to that point in time. When you look at the economy overall, it was growing across the board. The Trump tax cuts, which gets demonized a lot, actually added more revenue to the federal government than at any other point in the history of our country, adjusted for inflation. There was money coming back from overseas because companies were bringing that money back, and the way the entire
Yes, part of the tax cut was to incentivize countries to bring their production back to the United States. That's what a lot of people don't want to talk about when it comes to those tax cuts. That is very true. But let's continue.
Policy was structured, it was actually moving into really only two categories. One, wages for workers. Two, being able to buy back stocks. That's the only two ways that money was being really invested. There was a third way, capital expenditures, but that was another point of his tax policy. Then you get to regulatory policy. When he came in, he cut about $1 trillion worth of harmful, in my view, regulations from the Federal Register that was slowing down small businesses in the United States. So when you put all that stuff together, it was one of the great points of economic growth in our country, and every demographic group took advantage of that, was rewarded with that economic growth. Everybody had a piece of that economic pie. So black men are looking back and they're saying, okay, we had the 4 years of Trump, we have the 4 years of Biden Harris. Which one was better for my pockets? Which one was I excelling in
Let me think about that for a minute. Trump.
more and more? And if you look at the economic data, it's not a doubt. It was under Donald J. Trump. And that's why you're seeing more and more black men saying, you know what? I'm going to roll with Trump.
Counter, Gary.
I would just have to do.
A lot of people forget the only real reason Trump lost is because COVID happened. And yes, that was his fault.
Disagree because pay attention. He said up until that point, it was the lowest unemployment rate. The lowest unemployment rate for black people was actually in 2023 under Joe Biden. Donald Trump inherited a strong economy from Barack Obama, number one, and he fumbled the bag. He had a strong economy. He got hit with COVID and he fumbled the bag. So Biden gets in office with a pandemic, a financial catastrophe.
And he still fumbled the bag. Your point being what, Mr. Chambers?
And had to build it back up. What we look at is people who have a memory of the beginning of Donald Trump and not the end of Donald Trump.
No, we have a memory of the end. He fucked up on COVID. I fully acknowledge that. But that doesn't let Joe Biden off the hook.
And government is like a ship. It turns slowly, not swift like a speedboat. And so the progress that we saw in the very beginning of his term, he just inherited that. So when we talk about the benefits of Trump, there really were none in the end. If you look at the judges he appointed and the things that they're rolling back and the injustices that are taking place as far as some of their rulings, you don't have to look at Roe v. Wade. You can look at black folks in South Louisiana cannot sue the chemical plants anymore for environmental racism. They can't get the job at the plant when the plant comes in. They're going to get the cancer from the plant. And because of Trump's judges, now they can't sue when they are harmed by those things. When you talk about what's going to benefit the economy in the long run, it's going to be things that like what Vice President Harris is talking about, 3 million new homes that she plans to build, $50,000 that she plans to give in tax credits to
$50,000 in tax credits, meaning your business has to make that kind of money before you can get it. How is that helping small businesses? Majority of small businesses don't make that kind of money in the first few years. And the first thing they teach you when you have a business class is 90% of businesses fail. How is that helping anybody that's starting a business?
To small business owners. Donald Trump only wants to give tax credits to the wealthy. That doesn't benefit working class, everyday, regular black people. I think that when we talk about these numbers, we need to also look at where are the strongest economies in the country and where are the most failing economies in the country. I'm from Louisiana, the 50th ranked state in the nation. If you want to see what Republican policies do, I invite you to visit us any day.
Count. You got to count.
Oh, I got a lot of things to counter there. First, number one, when Barack Obama left office, the economy was actually not growing. We were in a stagnant economy. And this is my career. I'm securities licensed. I worked in the business 17 years. The economy was actually growing only 1 to 1.5% per year when Donald Trump came into office. When he cut regulation and put in his tax policy, which, by the way, like I said before, grew the federal treasury, you lower tax rates, you actually get more tax revenue. That's an empirical fact. When he did that, mirrored with his put together with his regulation cuts, economic growth in the United States went from 1.5 under Barack Obama to 3.5 under Donald Trump. Those are the facts. That's the details. Number two, to what Kamala Harris wants to do. First and foremost, how's she going to build 3 million new homes? Has she actually told us how she's going to do that? Because she has not.
No, she is not.
Quite frankly, she hasn't told us much of anything, but I digress. Hold on, brother, I'm gonna come to that. Here's why. The same regulatory policy that the Biden-Harris administration has now put in across the board, including their environmental regulations, that slows down the ability to build new homes in the United States, and it increases the cost of building homes in the United States.
And we do have a housing shortage. So something's got to give. To all you environmentalists out there, something's got to give.
And that's before I get to her economic policy. Number two, giving $25,000 to a first-time home buyer, that's only going to make the cost of homes $25,000 more.
Yep. And every financial expert I've talked to has said that.
because every seller in the United States is going to say, well, hold up, you're a first-time home buyer. You got another $25,000 from the feds. Well, cool. Now my price of my home is now $25,000 more. It's actually not going to help the affordability crisis. Number three, her plan about wanting a $6,000 child tax credit. Well, a funny thing happened in the American Rescue Plan that Joe Biden signed into law in April, May of 2021. Kamala Harris was a deciding vote in the Senate on that plan. In that plan was the same tax credit policy. When that came to the House of Representatives, I was on the budget committee. When it came in, we said to them, this is going to create inflation, because what you're doing is you're going to give the child tax credit combined with state unemployment benefits, and that's going to be more than the average prevailing wage across the states right now. So essentially, people are going to stay at home. Why would you go to work in the middle of the second half of the pandemic when you're getting state unemployment and you're getting a child tax credit and you're making more money being in the house? That created a labor shortage in the United States, which created the inflation that's been crippling families. So, brother, I hear what you're saying, but the economic record is clear. If you're trying to generate economic growth, which is the thing that's going to allow small businesses to thrive, allow Black people to thrive, Hispanic people, white people, etc., you have to have a low tax environment. You have to have a low regulatory environment. And she's not proven that she can build, frankly, anything. She's in charge right now of the broadband program that was in the Inflation Reduction Act. They've not.
Oh, I didn't even know that. And he would know. He's a sitting congressman. He would know.
Added anybody under the Biden-Harris administration to rural broadband, even though they put $42 billion towards that program. So I'm looking at what she's done, not what she says. And what she says doesn't add up.
Okay.
I think that you said a whole lot of things to say a bunch of nothing in some ways, because you bring up these policies. Question for you: do you support raising the federal minimum wage?
No, I don't. I never have.
So when we talk about the policies that he's supporting, those policies support the wealthy. He doesn't support making regular, everyday people be able to earn.
Don't nobody say shit.
Hey, what's good, homeboy? I'm sorry I'm late to the class. Teach. Don't put the dust cap on me and make me go to detention. Catch me up. I'm ready to participate. Let's go.
Oh, Byron Donalds versus Gary Chambers.
Okay.
Activist.
Byron Donald is who, and who is the other guy?
Byron Donalds is a congressman from Florida, Black man.
Okay, I got you. Democrat or Republican?
Yes.
I said I was asking a question: Democrat or Republican?
A Republican.
Okay, got you on that. And who's the other guy, and what does he represent?
Gary Chambers. He's a civil rights activist out of Louisiana.
Okay, he vaguely sounds familiar to my recollection.
Yeah, I can't remember where I've seen it before, but I've heard that name before.
Okay, now what are they squabbling about now?
About everything, including this current election.
Okay, let's go.
Earn a higher.
Right now, they're talking about the minimum wage.
Okay, good place to start.
I'll give you my straight up position. Do I think they need to raise the minimum wage? Yes. With that being said, raising the minimum wage is kind of pointless until you fix housing, the housing prices and the rent prices.
I concur, but you do also know, AB, what comes with raising the minimum wage.
Yeah,
what are all the employers are going to say? Well, if we have to raise minimum wage, then we're going to have to cut back on jobs because prices are going to go up and this, that, and the third. So, yeah, it's all mumbo jumbo at the end of the day. But I do agree with you. The average American needs a pay raise, period, because this is ridiculous. And just let the people in the chat who are listening know, what is minimum wage again?
The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. It hasn't been raised in almost 20 years.
No one can live off of that. I'm sorry.
No
one.
But let's listen to Byron Donalds.
Living because he believes that the wages are going to trickle down because the people with the majority of the money are going to pour some money into your cup all of a sudden. It never happens. It never happens. When you look at the policies of Democrats versus Republicans.
No, Democrats practice piss on you economics too. Stop the cap.
Democrats have created more jobs over the last 30 years under Democrat presidents than conservative presidents. 2.3 million jobs got lost under Donald Trump. And he's skipping over the last 2 years of Trump's presidency because you can't talk about the fumble bag. You just can talk about what you thought was right in the first two years of the presidency. If you had a leader who was wiser on the front side of the decisions, then we would not have had a crumbling economy and a healthcare crisis on our communities. The second part, did you vote for expanding Medicaid?
Well, actually, I was going to ask you a question because you asked me once, so now I was going to.
I gave you a little bit of time. I want to. This is my time. I want to follow up with that. Did you vote for expanding Medicaid, helping expand Medicaid, or did you vote for the $2,000 cap on prescription drugs this year?
The $2,000 cap, I believe that was in the American Rescue Plan.
Did you vote for it?
Well, no, because it created inflation.
Okay, that's my point.
You can't ask one question.
Yes, no, it's a yes or no. I just want to know, did you vote for it?
You can't ask one question.
Okay.
I want to know, did you vote for it? Because if you didn't vote for that, that's what benefits your grandmother and your grandfather, because now they don't have to pay over $2,000 a year for medical care costs. So when you talk about these things, talk about policies that actually impact working class people. The policies of Donald Trump benefit the wealthy, and those policies never trickle down to you.
Oh, really? Because I know plenty of working class dudes that enjoyed them tax cuts that Donald Trump gave. So, really, brother?
But this is what he's trying to propagate and gaslight this man and everybody else in that audience to believe in. But I digress. Continue.
And just because a rich man's doing well doesn't mean you will.
Okay, count.
Okay. The talking points are cool, but let's get real. First and foremost, Seattle was the first city that went to a $15 minimum wage. I believe it was about 7 or 8 years ago. Do you know what happened to working people in the city of Seattle? Their hours were cut. Do you know why their hours were cut? Because the price per employee was so much higher that businesses had to start cutting back. People went from working 1 and 2 jobs to working 2 or 3 jobs in the city of.
Yeah. Didn't I just say that, AB? What happened if you raise that minimum wage, what they were gonna do? And they've done it. We've literally seen this. We're watching this as every fast food joint, at every convenience store, every local establishment has to raise their minimum wage to meet the demands of, whatever local economy is going on. They do that and then turn around. We're gonna automate your job. We have to automate your job because we just can't meet the demands of paying you that high wage and satisfying our customer at the same time, because it's hurting our bottom line, i.e. the corporation, whichever corporation you fill in the blank of the corporation. But I digress.
Yeah, and it should be noted, the people with the high, you notice the people with the highest minimum wage also have the highest rents too. Oops, did I say that out loud?
Absolutely, and it was heard loud and clear and understood. Continue.
In Seattle. If you want to, hold on, Gary, now, I backed up. Not chill out for a minute now. Okay, now, if you want to go to the other thing about the minimum wage, if we want to have that economic conversation, another thing to understand, the prevailing market wage right now is significantly over the minimum wage. That's actually the real impact when you look at the minimum wage at any point in time over the last 50 years, that the market wage is always over the minimum wage. The minimum wage is a wage for entry-level employment. So if, my kids are 21, 17, 13, if they have to go work in a restaurant or work on a construction site or work in a hotel or doing something like that. And by the way, in construction, you make a lot more than the minimum wage. Let's establish that. But if you're going to do that, they don't have the skill set to be able to demand a higher wage. That was the original purpose. That was the original purpose of the minimum wage. And so I will tell you, in the economic data, really over 50 years now has proven that the minimum wage is not really indicative of what people are making every single day. And actually, when you raise the minimum wage,
I didn't know about it. I just happened to see it. I just happened to see it scrolling through YouTube, and with that, and the shit-lived MOT was crying, "How come the Manafort hasn't covered this?" So I took a look.
Did he cover it?
Yeah, he covered it.
Oh, he covered it. Okay.
But I took a look at it, and I thought it was interesting enough to cover.
No. So he went through the whole thing?
Yeah, from what I could tell.
Okay.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking before we get started, I was just curious as we were going through it. The thought came through my mind. Is this a C-SPAN thing, or is it something else?
No, it's from Revolt.
Okay,
It's from
okay, got it.
Revolt. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay.
And by the way, what's going on, Master Educator? I
What's
just had
going
to.
on? So
I
why is this so important to cover him and what they're talking about?
Election season.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, I listened to some of it, and I was like, this is interesting enough to cover, at
Okay.
least.
All right.
Minimum wage, what ends up happening is you start pricing out low skilled labor. What's happened at Panera Bread? What's happened at Walmart? What's happened at Costco? What's happened at McDonald's? All these companies, well, when you push a higher wage, what they are starting to do is move towards automation. So now there's less people working in those stores. What does that do to people who are trying to find ways to make ends meet? It gives them less ability to find a job and less ability to put money in their pocket. So specifically to the minimum wage, one quick thing, Tez, I'm gonna go quick on this one. When you want to talk about the American Rescue Plan, yes, they put a lot of things in that bill, like what you talked about with the out-of-pocket expense on prescription drugs. But let's be very clear, the American Rescue Plan is the bill that created the inflation that has been hurting every American, regardless of race, in the United States of America, except the rich. Who said that? Not me. Lawrence Summers, who was the economic advisor to Bill Clinton, because he came
A neoliberal I can't stand, but you know.
out when that bill came out. And he said, do not do this. The economy doesn't need this stimulus. It's going to cause inflation. Larry Summers was right. House Republicans were right. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were wrong. So how are you going to entrust her with the economic future of our country when she's already damaged the last 4 years of purchasing power for the same people who need help today?
Okay, so I want you to counter that, Gary. Then I believe we'll
I
have a
got
question from
claps.
the audience, and then we
Yep.
want to get to the next topic. I want to make sure both of you have time.
I
That's
don't
your
want to go
question.
into the details of everything he said, but what I will say is that no American should be making $7.25 an hour anywhere in this country. And if you got a congressman who supports keeping the federal minimum
Gary Chambers, a civil rights activist.
The thing is, okay. So what is your plan instead? Okay, he just laid out his problems. You don't want to go into details because you can't. What's your plan instead?
wage at $7.25 an hour. I don't care if you're 15, 16, or 21. You can't afford to pay a light bill on working 40 hours a week at $7.25.
But let's be very clear. No American is making $7.25 an hour.
That's not true. I live in South Louisiana. I guarantee you I can find you somebody making $7.25 an hour.
Well, y'all heard that. Okay.
I can find it
Let's go
everywhere
to,
in
I believe, is it
Texas.
James? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. Okay, but what he
Question
saying?
in the audience from James on
But
the
he
economy.
mad.
And
He's
let's stay
hot.
focused
Look at him.
on the
He's mad.
economy.
He's mad. Look at him. He's mad.
I believe he's in the back.
Yeah, but he's an activist, not a
Good
bill maker.
afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
So why is he up there
Again, my
arguing
name
with him?
is James R. Sanders,
Good question.
author of Reparations, Style and Soul, and host of the Big Pay Black
Is that a chick, a
podcast.
dude, or what?
So
I
a
don't
few
know.
weeks ago,
You know what that is, but let's be
Tyrese
respectful, old man. Let's be
incorrectly
respectful.
accused the
Okay.
Biden
Oh, I'm sorry.
administration of not including the Black community.
I just want to know what
in
did he or she
legislation
identifies as.
having to do with the
Yeah.
Stop Asian Hate Bill. While the singer was ultimately incorrect, he was not alone in his perception. And while we all know perception is something that can ultimately
Did she bring up
swing a vote,
Tyrese?
is she doing a good enough job of separating her policies from the Biden administration
Yeah, boy.
previously with what she's doing now in campaigning? So is she doing a good enough
That's
job of
supposed to be a
separating
man.
her own policies
Oh,
from
it's a gay
Yeah.
man. A gay man. Okay.
and what
All
she
right.
did previously from 4 years ago?
I don't feel bad, BGS. I kind of thought it was a woman
that
too.
the vice president has separated herself on some aspects of policy. I think that to run away from everything that happened under President Biden would be foolish in some ways, because everything that happened under President Biden wasn't bad. And I think that we need to be honest about that. We need to be honest about what he inherited and where we are today. Interest rates just got cut recently. inflation is down at this point, and that's a response to things that were inherited by Donald Trump, from Donald Trump. Second part is, I think that she's articulating policies in a more clear way than Donald Trump ever has. This man gets on.
He can't be serious.
You got a chuckle at it, huh, old boy?
Yeah. Kamala Harris has been more clear than Donald Trump has about policy, really?
No. The Madam Word Salad?
On stage and says he has concepts of a health care plan after he was president for 4 years. He's been out of
Well, as a kid, they probably got concepts of how to improve Obamacare too. Oops, did I say that out loud?
office for another 4 years, and now he's running, and he still doesn't have a plan for what he's going to do to replace health care in the way that he says he's going to do. So when I talk about why I'm supporting the vice president, it's not actually because I'm thrilled about the.
I need to ask BJ's question for you. Since Cheeto got tore up for trying to mess with healthcare the first time,
Right.
and now he's running, has he came out and blatantly said he's going to change anything about the healthcare?
No, he hadn't said anything. Well, I think the Republicans wanted to change it. They got ran out of their little town hall meetings. They haven't done anything since.
And haven't talked about it since. So what is he talking about? What is he really talking about?
So basically, the health care plan hasn't really changed very much since Obama put it in, for the most part.
Yeah.
Hello.
At least to my knowledge, I haven't seen any major changes in it.
If I'm not mistaken, Trump got them to lighten up on the individual mandate, but that's about
it. Yeah. For the most part, it's unchanged.
Because if memory serves me correct, once Obama first passed that Medicare thingamajig, he put in a stipulation that if you had insurance or not, you still had to pay you, and if you didn't, you were subject to fines and what else, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So him doing that for us recently is a benefit to the American public. Relieving us from having to pay that exorbitant excise, what I would consider an excise health tax. But I digress.
The individual, as much as I am the policies that I believe that she's going to stand for that will benefit working class, regular people. And when you look at conservative policies, they failed working class, regular people, and specifically black people. I live in a city where black men make 50 cents on the dollar for every dollar that a white man makes. And that's in a city and a state that's ran with a Republican governor and a supermajority in the Republican legislature. If you let their cronies end up in the White House and in the Congress in charge, that is what America will face. You'll end up like Mississippi and Louisiana, and most of y'all moving from the South. Now,
oh, well, whose fault is that?
We had Democrats in office for 4 years. What did they change for you?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Louisiana had a Democrat governor beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
The brother that was one lost the election, and ironically, some people in the management try to blame us for it. I'm like, why is that our problem? We didn't tell those black folks to stay home in Louisiana.
No, I don't know what the black management blamed us for the black dude losing Louisiana. The thing is, why are you bringing up after he loses? You could have campaigned for him. I mean, you're sitting on the same panels with us for months, years and months on end. Okay, you never brought up his name.
Yep, they should have stumped hard. BGS is
it the same as Biden? Is it still the same platform, or should she separate herself?
Well, first of all, to be honest with you, I don't think she's really separated herself from Joe Biden at all.
Nope.
She was the deciding vote for every major economic policy that went through that administration. She had to break those ties in the United States Senate, so she can't separate herself. Furthermore, she was sitting right there with him when they were going through everything when it came to immigration and border security, when it comes to foreign policy and all those policy sets. But I think it's bigger than that. In this environment, Kamala Harris, other than a couple of phrases that she has uttered or policies that just went up, a week ago, and there's really no details there, she hasn't articulated much of anything. Go look at the Oprah town hall. I didn't see her articulate a detailed economic vision or
not at all
detailed border security vision. When she sat with 3 journalists from NABJ, I believe one.
And yes, to the butthurt blues in the crowd, I did cover Oprah's interview with Kamala Harris. The
I
whole thing.
I did
Of
not.
which I've done an interview with that gentleman, Eugene Daniels. Eugene grilled me for an hour. They basically asked her 4 powder puff questions, no real detail. There's more detail in this debate between myself and Gary right now on stage. Kamala Harris hasn't done that. So in my view, she hasn't answered the call or answered the bell in detailing to the American people, what is she going to do differently than Joe Biden? All she's saying is there's a new way forward, or I'm a new form of leadership. But the phrases and the personalities don't mean anything, because in 46 days, this election's going to end. It ends in 44. 2 days after election day, all the phrases.
Yeah, this took place a while ago. I didn't even know about this.
How long ago is how long far back did this take place?
Um, Probably four some odd weeks ago, because
Okay.
I looked at the chat and they were complaining, how come y'all didn't post this sooner?
And how
Yeah.
did this stuff operate on? We don't let a lot of stuff.
Okay, I remember the revolt thing, but thing is, there was a couple things on revolt, but this is not one of them that I remember.
No.
Okay, I remember revolt, but this is not one of them.
Well, let's keep
I mean,
digging.
it slipped by him because he's just now mentioning it.
Yeah, let's just dig in and analyze it. Go
Stop.
take care of it.
But the policies are what's going to matter. She's not said really anything to that. I wish that she would, because it would be helpful to clarify.
If I thought it was, believe me, if I thought this was irrelevant, I wouldn't have covered it. But
I guess it's
for all
relevant.
Americans, no matter your personal politics. And the last thing I will say in terms of inheriting from Donald Trump, COVID-19 was something that was a disaster for every country in the world, including the United States of America. But what else did you inherit from Donald Trump? Inflation, when Joe Biden came into office with Kamala Harris, was at 1.4% year over year. Since Joe Biden and Kamala Harris took office, the price of inflation, the price of goods and services are well up over 20%. Go fix your car. It's well.
the highest in
You covered that. You did cover that. We know about that.
Get car insurance, well up over 50%. I just flew into Atlanta. I'm flying out of Atlanta to go back.
Yeah, I've heard the average car payment now. I'm legally blind, so it doesn't matter to me. The average car payment now is like $700.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, sir. And that's for an economy car.
Yeah, that's economy. Yeah.
Damn.
The
Yep.
DC
$7 a
airline
month for
tickets
7
well
years.
up over 30%. That's their economic policy. That was not happening in the United States when Donald Trump was president of the United States. And I will add in closing, because we talk about job numbers. When the economy was shut down because of COVID-19, of course, a lot of people lost their jobs. But what did
And just for the record, yes, BGS, I've already covered. That was Donald Trump's fault, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Donald
yeah.
Trump do?
He
Did
admitted
he
it.
just sit in the White House and not lift a finger? No, he moved PPP funding for small business owners to be able to keep their businesses somewhat afloat through the pandemic. They moved additional assistance like tax credits and etc. for people who are employees to be able to try to make.
But you brought up a good point, BGS. This is a congressman who sees what's behind the wall.
Yeah.
And why is he debating? You're just a civil rights activist. That's a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. So why is he doing it? Because he doesn't know anything.
And meet and stay above sea level while the economy was shut down. So Joe Biden comes into office, they start reopening the economy, and then what happens? All those jobs come back. That's not because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's because those jobs are going to come back regardless of whoever was president of the United States. And last thing I will say, the Biden-Harris administration just had to come out with a revision to their own employment statistics.
Yes,
and they had to remove 818,000 jobs that they had falsely reported to the American people.
Which is
and the
still
unemployment rate has been going up.
Okay,
With 818,000, it was still more than Donald Trump. With 818,000 jobs,
the pandemic shut down the economy.
Whatever the reasons are, the numbers are the numbers. And let's be clear,
if nobody's going to work,
a Democrat Congress passed the PPP protections, not a Republican Congress. So when you talk about Donald Trump giving you PPP loans to bring us back out of
Activist right here, correct? That's the
in
activist.
COVID, it was a Democrat Congress that did so. It
Wasn't
was a
that
Democrat
a negotiation
Congress,
with Donald Trump to
but
make
who
that
was
happen?
writing the bill? The Democrat.
That's actually not how it works. The
If-
White
if-
House,
if
the
they-
White
if
House,
they
the
took-
White House.
How would you
How would you argue with the Congress when he was there?
Good Lord.
writes a lot of the bills that get passed and signed.
So you telling me that you don't write
Gary.
legislation?
Gary, you ran for the U.S. Senate. You know how
So
this
you
works.
telling me that you don't write legislation as a congressman?
No, what I'm saying,
What
I'm saying is that when you get to the bills that move through both chambers of Congress and to a president's desk, there is a large negotiation that goes on with each chamber of Congress.
Where does the bill
and
start,
the White
sir?
House. That's how it works.
Where does the bill
Okay,
start?
so hold on.
Let's not schoolhouse rock. Where does a bill start?
Oh gosh.
Well, actually, it depends on the bill.
Where does the bill start, Congressman?
I'm trying to tell you, brother.
In the
On
house.
top of the hill.
That's not always true.
Since he want to be
No, because Biden did send a bill from the White House to Congress.
And if you
The-
listen to
the
Byron
immigration
Donald,
bill.
and he would know because he's in the Congress.
He's
he
in
said
Congress.
It depends on the committee.
Yeah,
And anybody that follows that.
Joe, if you listen to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, she will tell you. They both will tell you that when they first got in office for immigration, they did send a bill down to Congress with an immigration bill. So it can't. So a bill can actually start with the president. It can.
True.
If you're
The bill starts in the legislature by the people who write the bill.
brother, I'm in
Senate
the
or the House?
Congress 4 years. I was in the State House 4 years.
Okay,
brother,
so where does
let me
it
tell you.
start then? Just a quick. I got another question. I need y'all to have
I
2 minutes.
want to make sure this is clear.
Yes, sir. Where
It's
does
a little
the bill
bit more than
start?
schoolhouse
The
rock.
president signs the bill. He don't
When
write.
spending bills originate, spending and taxing bills originate in the House.
I'm
Other
just
legislative
a bill.
policies can either start in the Senate or the House.
Not
That's
the
how
president.
it works.
Right, but he's did
Not
say
the
House.
president.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
president
president
does not write
negotiates
the bill.
everything.
So
Presidents
he
just don't
said
sign stuff that
he
comes
brought
from
up the
Congress.
PP.
Y'all know
Yeah,
that.
but let's
Come on now, let's not
okay,
play
but
that.
hold on, but let's be
Yes, and
fair.
I gotta
Hold on,
make
wait
a
a minute,
point.
wait. This is important. This is important, Congressman. This is important because we want to educate. We got a lot of people who are 18 to 25 may not
What's that Charles always says? Black people are the main ones who want to argue with the experts.
understand
All the
schoolhouse
time.
may know what y'all talking
They don't
about.
know what
Schoolhouse.
schoolhouse is.
So we want to be. So let's be clear about where a bill starts in the House. I understand the president can negotiate. I understand that a president can send something down and say, "Hey, I need you to write these bills," but we want to make sure that we're giving these young folks accurate information. So it starts in the House, correct?
A House or the Senate.
By the way, I got 23 watching. Like, share, subscribe. Hit my Cash App. Support the show. Hit the Super Chat. Support the show.
BGS tax in effect.
The House of the
Spending and taxing bills start in the House.
That's it.
But
That's all.
but the reason I want to say
but
that,
okay,
Ted,
go ahead.
is
I
because
got another question.
when you say that the president did these things as far as PPP, the Congress wrote those legislations
Right,
and
and-
passed that, and that was a Democrat Congress. Trump made them hold up the check so that they could put his signature on the check.
See,
So what? It's called politics.
Yeah.
That's
we
why
go.
you think that Trump did.
Gary, the last statement you made is politics, man. That's politics and personalities and talking points.
Hey.
It's not facts. It's not reality. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you reality. There is nothing that's being signed by Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, etc., that is not negotiated with White House staff and congressional leadership. That's how it really works.
That's not what we said, though. What we said,
Gary, you
what
just trying to say that it was
what
only
you
Nancy
said is
Pelosi
that the
that did. That's
president
not
gave,
true. Come on
you
now.
said that Trump gave people PPP. The Democratic Congress gave people PPP,
Okay.
and Trump signed it.
Okay.
Hey,
So I
boy.
think,
Move on.
so I think,
All right,
we got,
move
so I
on.
think we got, so bottom line,
Move on.
Gary Chambers is saying it started in the House. Congressman Donald said it couldn't have happened
Controlled
without
by
Trump.
Democrats.
That's
Cannot
the bottom-
happen without
so
the president.
We got it. So
Period.
let's go
Full
on
stop.
to the next. Are
I
y'all
agree with
ready?
that.
So let me get to this question. In education, which is important, do you believe that charter schools and voucher programs give minority students a better chance at a good education, or do they weaken public education and increase inequality? I'm gonna go to you, Gary, first on this one.
So
Case.
I think that every community should have good public schools, good quality public schools paid for by your tax dollars in your community. When you introduce a charter, you introduce a private entity that then has its own board, not elected by the people, to take resources from the public school system into a charter school system to educate children. Are there some good charters? Absolutely. I know of several good charters in Louisiana. They're mostly homegrown charters that are created by educators from those communities who really care about those kids and understand how to teach those kids. What I've seen, though, because I live in Louisiana, we have one of the worst education systems in the country. New Orleans is one of the only places in America that had an all charter school district until
Louis.
this year. right? For the last 20 years, New Orleans has had an all-charter school district. It has not produced quality education for the people of New Orleans. If you ask the people of New Orleans what would they prefer, they would prefer to give the control of their schools back to the school board that they vote for so that those resources can be there. When you take a kid out of the public school system and put them in the charter school, the money that's with that kid goes to that charter school. So when you look at your local school district not having the resources to do professional development for teachers, or not having the resources to build new facilities or give quality training to people, they don't have that, because the more charters you open, the less money that's in the pot for everybody else. I think we need a national moratorium on charters to hold them and do an evaluation to say, has this worked for America overall? And if they haven't, then we should ban them, and we should go back in the direction. Because let me tell you, we only put charters in Black and brown communities. They do not put charters in poor rural communities.
That's bullshit, but okay.
To fix rural communities where those kids are struggling in school. Rural communities have struggling schools too, but they don't send big box charters to them. Why? Because they're going to say to those communities, I can tell you in Ascension Parish, Louisiana, which is right next to East Baton Rouge Parish, it's majority white. Those people there don't want charters. They have a majority Republican school board. They don't want charters in their community.
So quick question, when you said ban it, are you talking about on the federal level, or do you think there should be something more on the state level?
I think they should not allow them, period. Donald Trump agrees with, wants to end the Department of Education. I think that there has to be a checks and balances, because otherwise some of these governors and state boards of education will run rogue with our kids and their education.
Okay.
Well, a couple things. First, I believe that we should have an all of the above approach. When I first got into the state legislature, I felt that the answer was charter schools only. I've actually moved away from that position.
When did you move away from that? Just so
probably around 2018, 2019.
Okay, what made you move away?
Because what you begin to realize is that it's not just about a charter school or a traditional public school or a private school or a parochial school. What you begin to understand is that you want to have an economy of education where parents are empowered to make those decisions on behalf of their child. I have 3 sons. They've all attended different schools. They all learn differently. They all have different ways of progressing through an institution, just like any other child in America. So I think what we really want to get to is a situation where, yes, parents, through a scholarship program, like some states are beginning to start, they are given the ability to pick and choose where they want to go with their child. If it's the local traditional public school, then that's fine. That's the decision of the parent, examining their child and what their child needs most. If it's a private school, so be it. If it's a charter school, so be it. When you have a situation when you have multiple schools having to compete for those children, it actually raises the game of all those different schools for the children. It's much more of an economic principle that we see in so many other parts of our economy, when people's purchasing power creates better product overall. I think when you talk about rural America, Gary brought it up, and this is important. One of the reasons why you don't see a lot of your corporate charters, your big box charters, go into rural communities is because there's just not enough students in a compact area where it actually makes sense to put a school there. How are you going to bus schools from a 30-mile radius, 40-mile radius, 50-mile radius when there's already a competing traditional public school in that area? It doesn't really work. I think that in the economy where we're at today, where it's based upon information, you got to have a free-flowing ability for children to get the absolute best that they need of what's available to them. And that's not to diminish public schools per se. I think that with traditional public schools, the issue is that it has been so dominant for so long, it has been in the mud in terms of the true innovation that is necessary for public schools to meet the needs of these kids. And a public school's not going to meet the need of every kid.
Quick question for you, Congressman. Do you support Donald Trump's position on getting rid of the Department of Education? And if so, why?
Oh, I do. And it's empirical data. Since the Department of Education was created in, I believe it was 1977, since it was created, the academic rates of mathematical attainment at 4th grade and 8th grade and reading literacy at 4th grade and 8th grade has decreased for students in the United States of America. If the purpose of the Department of Education is to raise academic standards and academic rigor, But what we've seen actually is that mathematical standards have decreased over that time period. Why would we keep the same
So
agency
who
doing the same
regulates it
thing?
though? I mean, who would regulate it? Just
Well, actually, what would happen is similar to a lot of public policy. It would actually go back
The
to the
Department of
primary domain of
Education.
state governments. And I will add, state governments still have the primary domain over education in our country. The federal Department of Education does a handful of things. It provides Title I funding for low income students across the United States, and a couple other facets.
It's about to
What
get pretty interesting.
ESSA was a big one that just came out maybe
Yeah,
about 15,
um, no,
15, 20 years ago.
all
Before
they
that,
did, all they did was separate the Department of Education from health, education, and welfare. They made it
Yeah.
a separate entity. Okay, education department federally was always there since 1830s. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
never moved. So if you got rid of the Department of Education uh, um, federally, it'll either get rolled into something else or become something else. Okay, you can't get rid of it
Yeah.
because
And
there was no
you got to
child
have
left.
you have to have a way to get federal dollars, tax dollars down to the public schools. It would
yeah.
just be a different
Behind by
mechanism.
George W. Bush that came in early in his presidential administration. But the state departments of education are the ones that pass what curriculum standards are going to be, what testing standards are going to be, how textbooks are going to be ordered, what's going to be the actual documents and literature and wording and phrases that are going to be in those textbooks. They're the ones that deal with the licensing of teachers and what are going to be the standards of teachers to actually be employed within that state. State government actually has most of the control in education, but the Department of Education at the federal level has not proven by empirical data that it's actually been to the betterment of children in our country.
okay, let's let Gary respond.
One of the things that I disagree with the
Like I
congressman
said,
on
it's
when you
about to
talk
get
about
interesting.
charters
That's
not
what you
going to
think it
rural
is.
America. If their objective and goal is to improve the quality of education of children, you're going to educate children everywhere. You're going to go to the rural America. You're going to go to the big cities. You're going to educate children because there are children there in a failing school. And you said you care about kids in failing schools, right? So if you care about kids in failing schools, why don't you care about kids in failing schools in rural America? You
Wrong.
only care about kids in failing schools in the inner city because that's where the tax dollars and the tax base is there that they're going to let you screw their children. The reality is people in rural America are not going to let you bring charter schools into there. They're going to demand that their government gives them a good public education. When you take these kids out of that school and you put those kids in that school, what you end up doing is those resources that are there for that local school district are diminished. And he's right. A lot of this control is in the state and the local control of the school for schools. But your state board of education allocates a certain amount of money per kid. That goes into the local school district based on what school they go to. When you take the resources out of a local school district where the most levers for accountability exist for a parent, that's where the trouble comes because you can't challenge the board at many of these charter schools. Now, I don't disagree that we should have innovation, that we should have new ideas in education, that we should find ways to create that and stimulate that within the psyche and the mentality of our country. I don't believe that this method has worked. And I think the proof of that is we're all discovering what is the path forward. Right. I think that was an answer that people presented at a time because there were issues in education around the country. But I think that when you look at it over the last 20 years, that it hasn't necessarily benefited us. The other thing is when you talk about vouchers, there's Arizona said one amount that they were going to put in the bank for voucher program. That amount is ballooned beyond what they thought it was. Nobody knows how many people are going to opt into these voucher programs, number one. Number two, a lot of the people who are opting in are people who can afford to send their kids to private schools, but they end up getting the benefit of sending their kids to these private schools on your tax dollars. And regular people who live in these communities who actually need the vouchers aren't getting the access to them. And they usually don't have the means to transport their kids to all of these different places. So I just don't think that that's worked. I do think we need to figure out what is the path. And I think conservatives and liberals are wrestling with what that is, because if our children are not educated, we are failing as a society. And that is something that I think we can agree that we have to figure out what is
Majority of your boys can't read right now, sir.
that path. I don't think the current suggestions on
Can't read at a proper level now. So
the table are in. I think we need to figure out what does good public education look like and fix that in America for all of our children.
I'm gonna get to a question in the audience, but
that's a state thing, though.
And I think I just want to point out this important fact when I'm having this debate. I believe in all of the above, just to put my position, to have the option. But when Gary pointed out that a lot of people don't even have the ability to drop.
I do. Quick story. When I was in the first grade, I goofed around and I almost had to repeat it.
Okay.
But my father had me tested. It turns out I had dyslexia.
Oh, okay.
So for the next about 10 years, I went to a private school.
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to your dad.
I'm glad you said that. The key thing was what? Your father participated.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
That is key. One, you got the schools, you got a school system, the education system, which is a big bureaucracy to begin with, and then overall, clearly not all, parents that the average parent is just not participating in, and they really don't understand the system. And then two, people do not understand how these schools are actually funded. They are actually funded from property taxes.
Yeah, just like everybody else. Yeah.
Point blank. Period. You're in a poor area. You want to have good funding.
Also, another quick note. They tried to put me on rhythm. My father said, "Oh hell no."
Oh yeah. That shout out to your daddy, because I did the same thing for my son.
I got a story for y'all. I got a whole story for y'all if y'all want to listen.
Go ahead.
First grade, went through just about the same thing happened to me that happened to you, but no private school was put in. My grandfather was a long haul trucker at the time, so he didn't have time to, really monitor. He relied on my grandmother to keep up, but all the while, the egg donor was in my life. And anytime those teachers would call her, they would tell her, the normal spiel. The white teacher give a normal spiel about the young, rambunctious, inquisitive young black man who's not even trying to assist you, because everything else is entertaining my brain, because why? This is boring. So they tell her, she decides, okay, let's call the state counselor and whatnot. I mean, let's call MHMR, which it's ran through the state. Mental health and mental retardation. That's what it's called. But in that sense, she made an appointment to give me a psychiatric evaluation, got me a counselor and everything. This was a black counselor, because I refused all the white counselors. I'm not talking to y'all. This lady, who I thought was my friend because she's asking me questions. I'm naive. I'm a kid. I don't know. I'm answering.
Right.
She comes back and she tells my mom, nothing's wrong with him. Well, but the teachers are suggesting he needs Wrigley. Well, I'm not going to recommend it, but if you sign this waiver voucher saying this is what you want, okay, we'll get him the medication and see how it goes. She does this.
Okay.
Remember, I told you I'm in the first grade. I took this first, second, third grade up to fourth. Unbeknownst to my grandfather, he's not knowing that I'm on, a derivative of LSD. What they just call it.
Okay. Yeah, I remember this story. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, he comes home and, they always kept my medication above the little counter where my grandmother washed the dishes. It was a counter above there, the sink. And he walks in. He's like, Bert, what is this? She said, this is the medication RL got for your grandson. He would call me by my nickname, for Corky. And he's looking at it. He said, Bert, go get your medical books. And she went and got it. And he sat her down. He said, look up this. And she looked it up and started reading off everything. And I watched him go from mild mannered to 36 hot. I'm talking about quick. Bert, get on the phone, call RL, get her ass over here now. And I'm outside. I'm not knowing what's going on. And my mom, my egg donor gets to the house. She's like, what have you done now? Say, I ain't done nothing. What are you talking about? I'm here with my granddaddy and my grandmother. Granddaddy just came in. I'm waiting on him to take me around the corner, spin the block in the big truck. I do that all the time. That was my reward for being a good kid. He'd spin me around the block in the truck. So she goes in the house and he's reading her the ride act. Bitch, have you lost your cock-sucking mind? what are you doing? What do you mean? Why is this boy on this medication? Because the teachers told him he needs it, and I agree with them. Have you bothered to look and read what's in this medication? Bert, read off what's in this medication to her. And she started reading. And she kept, shut up till she get through. She read it all the way out. Now, you mean to tell me you want us to raise your boy who you ain't got time for because you want to be independent and in the working world. But mind you, you done put out 3 other kids by a different man who you can't that we're raising, but you want him on this psych medication drug. And she was like, well, they told me, man, I'm talking about my egg donor was 5'3", 240, 250 pounds, give or take.
Wow.
My grandfather was 6'3", 290 pounds. I watch him take his left hand, and he's dominant right hand, took his left hand, put it around her throat, right there up against that wall in the doorway of the house, and shove her all the way up above his head, and she's dangling. You lost your ever-loving mind. He will not be on this medication. I'm calling this counselor. I'm taking my butt down there, and if I gotta press charges on everybody in the state, somebody go get it, because this was not done with our consent. Because last I looked up, we pay taxes on this boy, not you. We're taking care of this boy, not you. You just pushed him out, illegitimate. And I'm still hot about that. Oh, he read her the riot act so tough, and the next thing I know, come Monday morning, I'm not on it again. But guess what? If I had an out, and he stayed, he was supposed to get back on the road that weekend. He stayed in town 3 more days. And he's like, guess what? You act up if you want to. You do whatever it is you want to. Guess what you go come home to? Some smart pills. You want some smart pills, son? What are smart pills? Took me to the back. They had a couch in the master bedroom with the bed like some old school families had. Set me down. Now, he went and grabbed the belt, turned me around on the edge of that couch, said, if you move, you turn, you finna get it. Whap, whap, whap. These are smart pills. You want some more smart pills? No, sir. See, you done got smarter already.
Yeah.
And that ended all of that. But yeah, I went through it. I know what it's like, and I wouldn't wish that upon no kid. And any black woman who puts their young daughters through that, they need to go serve prison time them they damn selves. But I digress.
Straight up though. Everybody I know that's been on Ritalin is crazy or got some kind of problem. But let's finish out this interview. Let's see what we got.
Your kid off. That was one of the things that I struggled with. There was no bus to get to the charter school. I wanted her to go to a charter school because the inner city that I was in was failing. So I put her in the charter school, but I also had to make sure that there was transportation to get her to charter school. And a lot of folks are working 1-2 jobs late. So that was an issue. Another concern that I had was when I took her and put her back into the public school, because there was nothing regulating between the two to make sure that she was on task. I'm thinking she's ahead of the game, ahead of the curve on the charter school.
No, she is not a good host.
To the public school and ended up being behind because they taught math totally different in the public school system versus what she learned in the charter school. So quickly, in 1 minute, I want both of you to give an
Hey, BGS, don't you just enjoy this new math?
Well, the thing is, I understand it, but the thing is, it's.
I do too, but when I saw the math, my mouth dropped to the floor. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? We're not gonna have any scientists if they keep doing this dumb shit.
Yeah, because they keep mixing the stuff up instead of teaching it directly and having kids master the stuff.
I mean, that's okay if you want to actually go into computer science later, but not as children. No.
Well, the thing is that's not the way you teach math, okay?
Right.
And even with computer science, it didn't work because Bill Gates said that shit 30 years ago. And guess what? When they start teaching, and guess what? You have less people that know how to program a computer than you do now. So the shit didn't work.
Okay, BJ, why would they change it? If it wasn't broke, why fix it?
It's because they thought this new way of teaching algorithms. So in other words, they don't teach you math; they teach you algorithms. Okay, And they think that if you start teaching little kids to think like algorithms, when they actually get to a certain stage, they'll be able to program a computer. It's because they're already thinking about algorithms, how to break up the problem into an algorithm rather than doing it straightforward. Okay, and
It's
they
all
found out and they found out that shit didn't work because
This
people's minds don't work that way.
is your academic class, okay?
Yeah, this is your elite academic class trying to,
It's very much a big academic class, yeah.
instead of trying to find out whether things actually works or not.
Right.
Exactly.
in layman's terms. They
Regulating. In
was
other
just trying to
words, are
reinvent
our
the
children
wheel.
learning the same? Is there some inequality in that? And how do we make sure they stay on path in a 1 minute response? And I'll get to the question.
You raised a great question. I want to say very, very quickly. Every state, they have their own funding formula for education. I can only speak to Florida. In Florida, there is a level funding formula, for every child across the board. Children who have special needs actually get more money in the funding formula. And so that's universal across our entire state. The difference is when you get down to the local level, the county level, the local millage rate that they collect from property taxes, that's the difference. And that's where you'll have one school district that seems to be more affluent or is more affluent. They seem to have more things, whereas in a poorer district, they have less. In Florida, we set it by counties. I don't want to
Yep, you just said it, Salchi.
Yeah.
speak to
That's
Louisiana. Maybe it's by parish.
Go ahead.
that's why property tax in California is collected by the state, and then all the school funds are distributed equally. They did that back in the '80s. So
I don't know, but in Florida, it's done by county. So you can have schools in Collier County, and even within the county, sometimes that's not even level. So those are some of the things on the conservative side of the aisle that we do wrestle with, and it speaks to the transportation issue. I think to your question about kids learning different things in different schools, I'm of the belief that it's not so much about the curriculum per se, because you can teach math. I believe there's one way to teach math, and it's the old way of learning math, the way I learned it. I was never really a fan of the Common Core style of mathematical teaching. I watched
Neither am
my
I.
oldest son go through that. He was frustrated with it. As a parent, I was frustrated with it because I was like, what the heck is this? It's not math. That's not the way I was taught. And so there was a frustration there. I think the better way is that there has to be a standardized testing ground where you have maybe a series of tests, not one test written by the textbook manufacturers, where you can demonstrate the knowledge of that child. So if you can demonstrate the knowledge of children, regardless of the environment, that's the best measure to see if they're rising or they're falling on the landscape of every other child or the other countries around the world that we're competing with.
well, that's the
My
difference.
concern was
See,
saying
that's the
testing
difference
as an
between a
African American
lawmaker
student.
and an activist. Okay, because he's telling you how the mechanism actually works.
Yes.
That's
Not
why. That's why I don't
do
know why
well
they're
on
And
debating
then a
this guy.
Republican at that. So
And by
Well,
testing
it
today,
doesn't matter. Republican or Democrat doesn't matter. The thing is, they can debate about how the mechanism works and how you can make it better. The other guy is not involved in the mechanism. He had no idea what he's talking about for the
It,
most part.
it's the same deal between for profit versus nonprofit. A lot of people don't know the reason why nonprofits struggle is because the real talent, they don't go there.
Yeah, because they're not paid enough. Yeah,
yeah,
There you
not paying
go.
enough.
There you go. Same deal.
yeah,
whole
yeah.
bias and a whole conversation with that we can talk about.
And that's why I don't want to. I'm sorry, Gary. This is why I don't want you to cut you off. This is important. That's why I think that instead of having one test that is written by legislators or written by textbook manufacturers, which typically
And I could tell you, you have to compensate people, especially if you want to go to the cloud. Maintaining stuff on the server is not easy.
Yeah.
You have to compensate people.
Yeah, unless it's something that's boutique and it's an area of knowledge that can only be done by a nonprofit, and then you're going to get talented people because there's no other place to go. But
Right.
is the case, there are a series of other tests that have been existing for a long time. The Iowa Basic is one for a long time that existed. There's about 5 of them. And what you have is students in a district, in a school, in a county, in a state. They don't know which test they're taking. They just take the tests that are brought. And that helps you demonstrate their ability to comprehend and do the basic skills work that we really do need young kids to be able to perform.
Okay, let's get to our question in the audience. Miracle.
So, with the alarming rate of illiteracy rising in the U.S., how has the Biden administration addressed the issue? And then how does each of your candidates plan to address the issue if elected?
I don't have a direct answer on the
That's a state
literacy.
thing.
I don't work for the campaign, so I can't give you a direct answer on what they've done about literacy. What I can say to the previous point about whether or not we have a streamlined way, because if one kid's in a charter school or kids in public traditional schools, I think that's why we need a Department of Education that's able to analyze and do inventory about what's being done across the board. Do things need to be tweaked in the Department of Education? Probably, but scrapping it, I just don't think that that's a pathway that yields us the harvest that we want. And for Black folks in particular, without these entities, a lot of times the mechanisms that we need to ensure that equity exists are not there. Right? We need the mechanisms to protect us from the discrimination that we face on a consistent basis through these institutions.
Oh no, is that Roland? Roland Martin in the building? Oh Lord.
Like I said.
Let's give Roland the mic. He probably got something to say. It's fine.
I think with the literacy, and this is an important one, the number one way we deal with literacy in the country is kids have to be in schools. We do have to acknowledge that in some of our communities, there was 2 years where children were not in the classroom. And now the data has come out. Now the information is coming out that was more about the National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers, not the teachers, but the union leaders who were actually blocking kids going back into school. We do have a real epidemic in our country with children who have fallen behind. And if we're going to be real about it, most of those kids happen to be Black kids and Spanish kids, because they're the ones who are in these school corridors where they were locked out of the classroom through no fault of their own. I think the recipe for success going forward is you have to go to a more dynamic education system where parents are prioritized, not the system being prioritized. So if parents can look at their child and see, hey, you know what, my son's not where he needs to be, any mother, any father's gonna go get that child help. That's what we do as parents. We're going to do that. But if we leave it in the hands of the career bureaucrats and the career administrators, and I want to be clear, not the teachers, because it's not the teachers' fault. It's the bureaucrats, it's the administrators, and unfortunately, it is the union bosses. Those are the people who are not prioritizing our children. We need to put parents back at the head of the table when it comes to this.
Okay, so I agree with that, and I get head of the table, Congressman, but respectfully, when we say we're going to go get that help, so when I needed to get that help to get my daughter on task to go from the charter to the public, that help costs about $400 or $500 that I did not have. So the tutoring, the extra help, all of that, the stuff that she got for free in the public school, the tutorials was helpful. So when you say go get that help, how? Like, who's going to pay for it? Like,
it wasn't for free.
There should be some safety net, in the public school. Don't you agree? That can give that help that you're talking about.
I'm not advocating for getting rid of public schools.
Okay.
I want to be clear on that. I do not advocate for that position. There is definitely a place for public schools in our communities. They have all the infrastructure. They have most of the kids right now. Most people aren't going to leave their traditional public schools, but you have to give parents who are looking for an ability to find something else that ability to do so. And there are states, Florida is one. I actually wrote some of the policy when I was at the state level, when we actually went to a transportation scholarship along with some of the other tax credit scholarships that we had for parents who were saying, I need to be able to transport my child, or I need other tutoring services. I personally believe if you look at Title I funding at the federal level, instead of just giving that to the State Department of Education and to local school districts, where they might buy a book mobile that drives around the neighborhood or do other things within the school, give that money directly to parents. So if they need tutoring, they can go get those resources.
Okay, let me we're going to go to criminal justice.
I struggle with when you talk about kids being out of school, ignoring the fact that teachers were at risk of dying. Right? Like when we talk about why people weren't in school, my mother was a public educator for 30 plus years. My father was a janitor in the public school system. So public schools produced this man right here. My issue is when we act like teachers should have been, children's immune system recovered swifter from COVID. We know that. But adults were dying by the droves. Kids were coming to school. My daughter brought my mom, who's 70 something years old, COVID, right? Now, by the grace of God, my mother survived and didn't have some of the outcomes that other people did because she's a healthy individual that takes care of herself. But that would not have been true for a lot of people. When we are making policy decisions in critical moments like that, the safety and the welfare of the people has to be the priority, because I can't educate a child that's dead. I can't have teachers teach children that are dead. So if these educators are dying by the droves, we're going to bring them out of the building, protect them, and bring them back. Now, and let's be clear, we had never faced this as a nation. So you just gonna dump all the kids in the building, let them keep getting sick, getting the old people sick, people dying. I went to way too many funerals outside. And when we listen to conservative policies, there's a thread of inhumaneness that rides through them. There's a thread of ignoring humanity that consistently rides through that for the desire to be profitable.
So this is where I got to push back, Gary, because in Florida, we actually reopened our schools faster than any other state in the country. And we have one of the oldest populations in the country.
And people died in Florida.
But hold on a second.
And a lot of people died in Florida.
This is important because the rate of death from COVID-19 in Florida was actually below some of the other states that had the draconian lockdown.
Give me the amount of people that died in your state.
That's the data.
Give me the amount of people that died in your state as a result of those policies.
As a result of which policies? Reopening our schools?
Opening the economy. Georgia and Florida continued to do things that were against what is the best interest of the citizens.
This guy is moving away from the subject.
We had lower deaths than.
Give me the number of how many people died.
He's moving the goalposts.
Yeah, the education system was terrible.
We have a lower population.
And we had, do you let me make my next statement? By the way, we have a larger population in the state of New York, and we had a lower death rate than California and New York.
Sir.
And you had two diametrically
You're not going to answer
policies.
my question. How many people died?
If I tell you the death rate and the absolute
not
number,
the death
it was
rate,
lower
how
than
many
both.
people died in your state as a result of those policies?
Gary, I don't have all the numbers of all 50 states. It's been
then don't bring it up.
Years. What you mean? Don't bring it up.
Don't bring up a number that you don't have the number for.
No, you are throwing out an emotional argument, and then when I
Pretty
tell
much
you
throwing out a
that the
factual
death rate-
argument, did people die?
Everybody on social media can go Google it right now.
Oh,
Did people
stop.
die? Stop. New York, California.
Stop breaking down into a female argument.
I like
This
fact checks in
gynocracy
real
at
time.
work.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Now,
Let's go.
now, Donald Trump didn't want fact checking in real time in NAB.
Neither did Kamala Harris, Roland. Let's acknowledge that.
Well, she fact checked him. But let me be clear.
She didn't fact check herself.
Yeah, actually, well, you know, he lied 50 times in the first
She
debate.
lied 33.
Here's the whole deal. Here's the whole deal. The reality is here. When it came to Florida, okay, what
Full
COVID
rolling up there.
exposed, first of all, Florida per capita had a higher rate, and then that was acknowledged. But here's the
That's one of the reasons I play. Like, you know what? Let me play this just for the just.
One rolling step up and get a seat.
problem what you did not admit to. What COVID exposed was the inequities between inner city schools and suburban schools. For instance, in Montgomery, Alabama, they actually had to use school buses and turn them into hotspots because they realized the number of kids who couldn't get on the internet. It exposed the Black and Hispanic kids
It's
who didn't have
Alabama.
laptops, who didn't have iPads. So when we went to a virtual learning system, white kids in suburban areas or even in cities where high income areas, they were in a better position. It exposed the inequities in the education system.
It's been there.
So
Pause it
the
right
system
quick,
was
AB.
grossly
Pause.
unprepared for it.
Y'all hear what Roland said? He said in those states, but why did he fail to mention they did the same thing in Texas and everywhere else? They were making a bunch of school buses and city buses, hotspot.
Yeah, they already. The thing is, the school system was not built for what happened. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's when it
They
happened.
were going through a crisis.
They were going through a crisis, so they adjusted their tactics according to their needs. That's what they had to do.
And that's why him bringing this up makes no sense. The system was already trash before COVID. Why are you even bringing this up?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is, Trump didn't make this system. He didn't make rural areas or places like that inaccessible. That shit happened under Clinton. Okay.
To Gary's point, folks were dying. Black folks were dying in a significant rate. And so what COVID exposed was the problems in our system. Now, you're right. The data is there where Black and Hispanic kids in terms of where they are. Because first of all, majority of kids in public schools are Black and Hispanic. So the problem is you got largely white folks making education decisions that don't impact their kids. So what's happening, even listen, I created school choice as the Black choice. I know this whole deal. The fundamental problem, though, that you have to admit, you got two things. Conservatives want to get rid of the teachers union because they're one of the biggest donors of the Democratic Party. That's what you got going on. I've actually sat with these folks. Then you have folks on who are progressive side who, yes, are taking advantage of a teacher position and not education of the children. So now you got to put people's motives on the table and say, why are you here? So the voucher plans in Texas and Tennessee is not about low-performing kids. It's about white suburban parents. And that's why I've opposed what's happening in Texas, because that is a voucher scam.
Okay.
I mean, well, suburban parents, white suburban parents, are taxpayers just like everybody else. Okay.
Yep.
And they have a right to go on the school board and ask for their kids for things just like everybody else.
I'm surprised AB let that run without putting some blue sauce on it.
It's funny you said that because this episode of Colosseum Daily has been brought to you by Sweet Sassy Rolling Vote Blue Sauce. Now with extra sassy blue juice. In other words, like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App, and support the show.
And the
Are
vast
you not
majority,
entertained?
the vast majority of kids, they're in the public school system were poor white kids. Okay, not blacks. There's not enough black kids.
Right.
And what era are we in now? The information age, called the internet. What they're not going to tell you publicly is there are no excuses. Period. If you are not helping your child out, that's on you. Yeah. That's what they're not going to tell you. But I promise you, that is behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't talk to pedestrians.
What I'm saying is,
I feel you.
Well before COVID happened,
yes,
the people in those areas knew there was no internet. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really wanted to do it, you could have. I mean, Elon Musk had Starlink. Okay.
Yes.
If the state really wanted to pay for it, they could have had a Starlink hotspot instead of a school bus. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The thing is, they use what they had.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not about low-performing schools. It's allowing everybody to be able to have a voucher. And we see in Arizona what actually happened with the data. The number of people who greatly benefit from vouchers are people who already send their kids to private schools. And the private schools are not creating new seats for Black and Hispanic.
Only thing I'm going to say to push back on that is that the end point of what you said, Roland, there's a lot of subjective conversation in that about how it's only, hold on. About how it's only for white kids. What I'm telling you is that the reason why I support vouchers or support scholarship programs is because I want to give every parent that ability to make that decision.
You want to give it, but
I
have voted for it.
I'm just very curious.
I'm on the record.
I'm very curious. Do you want the folks to get vouchers who right now are in the worst performing schools, or do you want anybody to access it? Who should get it first?
Well, first of all, what I believe in is a universal system. In Florida, who got it first were kids who were in low-performing schools.
Right.
That's what we did first.
How long was that program?
25 years.
Precisely.
Yes.
The problem in Tennessee and Texas is they wanted to be open to everybody immediately. So you don't have an opportunity to assess it.
Yeah.
I believe if you do a voucher.
This part of the thing drives me crazy.
It's a state issue. Okay.
You know damn well that he's not a legislator in those states, but you're bringing that up.
So basically, can you convince your states to give up control of their schools to the federal government? And all the states, all 50 states push back on that. Okay.
Hell no.
Program. It should be for the worst performing schools and students. You can say about percentile. In Texas, that's not what they did. And in fact, it's even worse in Texas because Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, what they want to do was they want to keep 40% of the money that was supposed to go to parents and say, oh, it's a tax savings. Parents will get 60% of the money. We'll keep 40. And I'm like, well, if you care about the parents, why not get it to Tesla's point, get the parents 100%?
I can't speak to Texas's plan. I'm gonna tell you Florida's plan.
Exactly.
So let me kind of bring some consensus on this.
It
sounds
keep going,
like this
from
is a
state
state
to
issue.
state.
So is this
State
why
issue.
the federal government should be more involved on the federal level for the department? Because when we're talking about this is what we're doing in Florida, this is what we're doing in Texas, this is what we're doing, and so there's not consistency, which we're getting ready to get into with criminal justice. When you have these leave it at the states. Now we're and by the way, I lived in Orlando, Florida, so my daughter went to school most of her time in Florida. Then when we moved to Oklahoma City, she went to the charter school, then back to Texas, and she was off chart because you have so many different states that have different rules. So I kind of want to I'll let you find
moving around from
2
state to
minutes
state.
literally, and which is why the Department of Education is important.
I'm not even going to go 2 minutes.
And then I'm going to
go real quick. I'm a conservative, and
She played hopscotch with her child, but didn't want to complain. Wow.
That role is limited and defined. There is a reason why you have the laboratories of democracy in the 50 states, because each state has to actually go through the legislative and policy work to find the best mix, and then
Right.
people will move to the best.
But we got to.
But see, when you say that
the
you're-
thing is,
I don't want people to have to move.
give me this.
But see, we say people to move.
Well,
It wasn't.
please interrupt me.
Everybody doesn't have the resources to move. See, this
I
is where we
grant
go
that,
back
but-
to the
I
resources.
grant
But when you give
So
states
let's-
the
course
power,
not.
when you give states the power, and without their checks, that's how you end up with Louisiana being 34% black and having underrepresentation for the last 100 years.
Move.
Right? We have 34% of the state. We just got a second black
Move.
majority congressional district as a
Mhm.
result of court rulings. We had to sue to get that. That's because.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't part of your family from Louisiana?
Yeah, it is. Okay. The thing is, just like everybody else, you got to exercise power in your state. You can't blame the federal government for stuff that you can't do at your local level, at your state and local level.
Exactly.
Because
come on,
of
BJ.
voting rights being
stop the
rolled
common sense.
back. That's because of Trump's judges. That's because of allowing things to be rolled away at the federal level and leaving it up to the states. That is a fact. That is a
That's
fact.
actually not true.
And
Okay.
that is a fact. If
I
we
know
don't
the state
protect-
of Louisiana sued, but everything you
I
said is the
lived there.
reasons why is actually not true.
No, we sued because we didn't have the representation. Matter of fact, black people, I live in the second blackest state in America, okay? Republicans have a super majority in the House and the Senate. Black people had 1 out of the 6 Congress members. In Louisiana, they elect 5 white congressmen every 2 years. There have only been 5 black people elected to Congress from the state of Louisiana in the history of this nation because of those type of policies. Listen to what I'm saying. 5 white people get elected from the state of Louisiana every 2 years. There have only been 2 black people to serve in Congress from the state of Louisiana in the history of this nation, because there are people like this good brother who believes that the federal government should have no say in what
He
the
doesn't have a
states are
say.
doing as it
He
relates
don't have
to
a
our
say in
policies.
what the Senate
That's
be
wrong. Either
represented.
if you're a federalist, that's what you
wrong.
believe.
There are
If you are a federalist, that's
Article
what you
1,
believe.
Section 8 of the United States Constitution actually lays out the roles of Congress and the roles of the federal government. You have to make.
So
a
how
decision.
do black
I'll
people?
let you go, Gary.
Black
I'll
people
let you
have
go
had-
now, Gary. Now,
Black people have had to fight against
Gary,
that
I'll let you go. I'll let
Black
you go now.
people have
Now,
had
Dude,
to
it's
fight
so
against
annoying.
Can we give him a tampon or something? I mean, seriously.
the
Yeah.
Constitution from the inception of this nation. If you want to talk
Black
about the
people fought
Constitution,
against
the Constitution didn't even consider
racism
you
in this country.
a full human.
Women fought
The
against
Constitution
being
didn't even-
subjugated in this
you are a
country, and
federalist,
we've moved past
sir.
that, Gary.
No,
we can't ignore that.
We have not moved past that because people
Okay,
in your
hold on.
party don't want women to vote today.
Okay.
What are we
Oh,
talking
here
about?
we go.
Okay, so let's
There are
let-
people-
let-
Moving the goalpost again.
Pedestrian.
The emotional
No,
argument.
no, no, no.
I'm talking about.
I may be
Yeah,
emotional, but I am
we
black.
agree.
Hold on, wait a minute. When did women become part of the conversation? I thought this was supposed to be about.
He's in his feelings.
It is not a pop.
Oh, yeah.
He's
So
in his
let's-
feelings.
I may be
And the host is
emotional,
not
but
doing
I
a good
am
job
factual.
of controlling
You
things.
are not factual.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so-
Were black people
so-
full
part of the
citizens in the
problem.
Constitution?
Do you want to have this
Were
debate?
blacks? Yes or
Let's
no?
go. So
Were
you,
black
Oh,
people
God.
want
Here
me
we
to-
go. Every time he
do
says
you want
that.
me to answer?
Yes or no? Were black people full citizens?
Do you want me to answer?
Okay, so okay.
I'm gonna answer it right now. When the Constitution was being drafted, it was the Southern states. The slick.
No,
Oh no,
don't
see,
give me your
Gary.
facts.
But
Hold on.
here's the thing.
Don't
Here's
answer
the
the
thing.
fucking
Hold on,
question,
Larry,
man.
just
Shut
really
the fuck
quick.
up, bro.
We don't want to talk
Holy
about the
shit.
details because the devil is in the
Oh, I can
details.
give you the
When somebody wants to go yes or
Oh,
no
let's
and not
get to
give
it
you the
then.
devil, then that's a problem.
Okay,
Now let me
so
speak.
let him respond.
Now let me speak to it. When the Constitution was being written, the Southern states did not, obviously, because black slaves were not allowed to vote. They wanted to count every slave as a whole person. And the reason is because the Southern states wanted more congressional seats in Congress to control the federal government. The Northern states, the non-slaves.
While they were enslaved.
Are you going to let me finish or are you going to answer for me? Let me finish. The non-slave states said,
You sound like
you
BGS
cannot
said.
count black
Yeah.
slaves
Yeah.
in terms of apportionment because they are not allowed to vote. You're not going to.
I'm sorry, I got to point this out. Don't these conversations sound awfully familiar?
Yeah, in fact, I think what's happening on social media is starting to bubble up into other places, right? Because they sound just like us. Okay, what is
Give
it?
him a-
Art imitates life, and
Yep.
what he's saying is about super majorities in Louisiana. Okay, has nothing to do with the federal government. Y'all have to work that out on the state level. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to go sue the Supreme Court about apportionment. Okay.
The fact that he doesn't realize it or understand that is the reason why I wouldn't even talk to him. Absolute waste of time.
Yes, it's absolutely what you quoting stuff that you should know already. If you fought against it, you should know all that already, right?
Jesus.
You have to go if your apportionment plan is not working out for you. That's one. You got to hit your state legislature, okay? Because they're the ones that do the apportions, okay?
Yes.
They're the ones that do it, okay? The apportion whatever seats that you get, who's in charge of whatever districts, because it's about redrawing districts, right? The federal government does not redraw legislative districts, okay? The state does that. That's number one. Number two, if you don't like your apportionment plan, you got to go sue, okay? So a congressman from Florida has nothing to do with what goes on in Louisiana, okay? That's a state issue.
Exactly.
An opportunity to be represented in the federal Congress. The compromise was a 3/5 compromise, but it was because the southern states wanted to use a black body to get more power, but not give the black body an opportunity to determine its own destiny. It was the northern states that didn't want black people to be subjugated even more at the writing of our United States Constitution.
And they want you a power to the
That's the
states
devil
either.
in the details that nobody likes to talk about.
Let's be clear that when slavery ended in my state, the second blackest state in America, we put a black man in the governor's mansion in Louisiana. Okay, he was the president of the Senate, then the lieutenant governor, and he became the governor of Louisiana. Because a black man fresh off the plantation in 1872 becomes the governor of Louisiana, comes in all of these restrictive laws that made sure that black people did not have the right to vote in southern states, in deeply southern states. When you talk about what has impacted us, it is having, I personally am four generations ago, my great-grandfather was a man named Philman Thomas. He was a congressman in the 2nd Congressional District. He owned my great-grandmother, who then produced my lineage in this family. So don't tell me what exists in this country. I still live in the full understanding that if I were able to grab all of the things that came from my history, having a grandfather that was a member of Congress, I'd probably be in Congress today. But you can't talk about all of the nuances of our lives and our history because it's written away by the myth and the lies that people like you tell.
The only the only thing that I'm bringing to this entire debate today is to be focused on the policy of what's going to happen in this election and going forward. We can talk about the history if you want to. I'm more than happy to do that. But let's be very clear.
History does impact reality, though.
But let's be very clear, because I said it earlier. In 44 days, this conversation, whatever Donald Trump says, whatever Kamala Harris says, all those points go away. What's going to happen after that election are the policies that are going to impact black people.
And that matters. Okay, let me say why that matters. Let me say why that matters. The history matters. The history matters because if you don't have the context, you don't understand.
Gary Chambers, a so-called civil rights activist.
Okay. Somebody take his badge away.
And how we got here. You don't understand how
he's a preacher. That's what he's supposed to do.
Having equal representation.
That's why he's an
I'm telling you
activist.
that right now, I live in a state that does not have fair representation, that there's a supermajority in the legislature that is Republican right now in Louisiana when black people make up 34% of the population and we cannot have fair representation. That is because of people who believe in federalist ideology.
No, that's black people's fault.
So we're going
to not black people's fault.
We're going to the next topic.
It is black people's fault. It is black people's fault.
Even if black people voted,
leave 34%, but they still control. That's a voting people problem, and y'all not voting.
Yeah, you're not voting. You're not voting. You're not picketing. You're not going to your state legislature. You're not doing anything. Okay.
Yeah,
Louisiana black folks are laid back. They don't do shit. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get in. Louisiana if I'm not mistaken, had a Democrat governor for 8 years.
Yeah.
So why is it our problem that a Republican governor got in? It's not our fault you didn't elect that brother that was running a couple of years ago. That's not our problem.
Even if we voted, there are not enough seats allocated to us to have fair representation.
Okay.
Here's all thing I'm gonna say.
That's a lie.
Only thing I'm gonna say is I'm gonna give it back to Tez. We disagree on some of this stuff, not the history. I think we mostly agree on the history, but we disagree on some of the outcomes going forward. But I think it's important because we don't have that much time left.
Right.
Let's give it back to Tez. Let's see what she wants to take us.
Let's go to the next one. This is why we need this show to be one topic so we can really unpack it. There's so many layers in politics. I want to add something quickly on criminal justice reform. Since 2020, we only got about 6 minutes, guys. Over 1,000 Black people have been killed by police. What reforms do you think, again, this is a big question, I know we can't answer it all, but what reforms do you think can change the game and make sure that cops are held accountable? And my question is, Donald Trump has talked about ending qualified immunity on the federal level. Do you support that, and why?
Well, a couple things. One, I think there were competing bills in the United States Senate in I believe it was the summer of 2020. There were competing bills. There was the Tim Scott version of the legislation, and there was and I forget I think it was the George Floyd policing bill, the Justice and Policing bill. That was the other one. The two bills were actually quite similar. The one major difference between the two pieces of legislation was qualified immunity.
That's a big difference.
In the Tim Scott's bill said you can't get rid of qualified immunity. I agree, you cannot get rid of qualified immunity. If you get rid of qualified immunity, I'm telling you today, you will have less police officers on the street. We have a ton of Black officers who serve in our police departments, Hispanic police officers, white police officers. When you get rid of qualified immunity, what happens is that police officer is not just subject criminally, but also subject financially. Hold on. So what officer is going to sign up when you deal with, at a minimum, any one officer has what?
Maybe a non-racist, maybe a non-racist one. Now, I just want.
Hold on.
Maybe a non-racist one.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, yeah.
Charles has been over this. Go to shout out Charles Faulkner Jr. Go to his channel. He did a video on qualified immunity. I've seen more than enough police videos. I understand why they have qualified immunity.
Yeah.
Because I'll give you an example. This one case, this white cop had stopped this Black woman, and everything seemed normal. You know, it's a normal stop. You know, he was, but he did a check, and I guess she had her boyfriend's car or something, and he had some charges on him.
Okay.
So he goes to arrest this lady, and all fucking hell broke loose. She just wild out, chasing around the car. Now, granted, she's wilding out. He's chasing her around the car. He has not pulled his weapon.
I remember that.
She goes in the car to try to drive off. He still hasn't pulled his weapon.
Okay.
She shoots him.
Oh.
Then he pulls his weapon and shoots her.
Okay.
And and drives off, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she died later from the gunshot. But seriously, I got to defend the cop. I saw at least 2 or 3 instances where he could have shot her legitimately before she even got to that point.
Yeah, the thing is, you have 9 police officers talking about qualified immunity. Okay.
Exactly.
You have civilians talking about what should and shouldn't be.
I just want to say,
so I don't think you should get rid of qualified immunity.
Okay, and let him respond. We only got 5 minutes. I would love to come back, Congressman, and have this conversation. I actually am the senior advisor for the George Floyd family. I was there when they wrote that, so I definitely want to talk about that in full detail.
Let me say, I was one of the lead organizers for activities that took place in Baton Rouge when Alton Sterling was killed by the police. I could tell you last year, in the last 2 years, over 1,000 Black people were strip searched by the Baton Rouge Police Department unjustly. That a federal judge ruled that the strip search policy of the Baton Rouge Police Department this year ruled that it was unconstitutional. And that I could tell you the names of countless other Black people who have been wronged by the police. If we end qualified immunity, we can hold them accountable. And what does that mean? That means that a cop who kills you is held accountable, not just by the insurance of the city, but by his personal stuff, that you can go after him personally when he kills you. You know what that's going to do? That's going to stop cops from killing people. Because if I can get your insurance.
He is right.
It will also stop cops from being
It'll
cops.
force them to police themselves correctly. I do understand the downside of it, and I know what BJS is going, like he just said. It's going to force a lot of cops to quit because they don't want to be under that scrutiny. But guess what it's causing you? Not just to get rid of good cops, you getting rid of them bad apples too. And guess what?
Okay, so
if we have to deconstruct it to rebuild it, so be it. That's just my thought.
You guys think that is that you want something that you really don't want. Okay, and
Mhm.
a lot of
If
times
I can take your
you deconstruct shit. Okay, and then try to build it back. The Glass-Steagall Act. Anybody? We're still trying to recover from
Yeah.
that shit. Okay.
stuff when you kill us, you're gonna think before you pull that trigger. And instead of protecting dirty cops, I'm not bad at good cops. I want a cop to go home to his family at night. I want you to go home to your family at night. But when you have a bad cop, when you have a bad apple, the end of the quote is they spoil the bunch. How do you get them out of the bunch? You ensure that the people who are harmed by them have all of the mechanisms and tools available to them to hold them accountable. And qualified immunity means that that cop is only held accountable by the city. Meaning, if I go out and shoot you, the city's liable for my decisions, not me. That means my wife. Matter of fact, when a cop in Louisiana killed Ronald Green, when he thought that he was going to lose his job in his retirement, you know what he did? He took his
He
car
quit.
and ran it into a tree and killed himself so his wife could keep his insurance. So if I take away qualified immunity, I'd rather that bastard run into a tree than kill somebody else.
Woo. Okay, so closing thoughts. We have a major election coming up. I think we have understood that state politics is very important. That's one of the things I'm always talking about. We talk federal, Trump, Harris, Trump, Harris, but it's important that we also talk about it on the state level. Can you give me closing thoughts in maybe about a minute or so, and Gary, on what people need to be looking at? What should they be looking at? What's most important in this upcoming election?
Well, when it comes to the presidential election, there are three things that are massively important. Who's going to do a great job running this economy and making sure people can thrive? Who's actually going to secure the southern border? Because there's been 15 million people that have come into our country illegally. And who's actually going to get us out of these conflicts across the globe? No matter how you feel personally, when Donald Trump was president of the United States, we were getting out of foreign conflicts. We were not engaged in other wars. Vladimir Putin was not looking to take property or take other countries because, quite frankly, he wasn't going to mess with Donald Trump. When he was president, the southern border was secured. That is a fact. And number three, when he was president, the economy was significantly better than it is right now. That is a fact. Conversely, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris comes in. Vladimir Putin has invaded Ukraine. Israel was attacked on October 7th. Our enemies do not respect them and do not fear them. And that's the actual truth. The southern border will remain wide open. Instead of 15 million illegals, it'll be 30. Because the Senate bill, by the way, that she said she was signed into law, that would make it legal to have 1.8 million people come into the country illegal every single year before the president is allowed to act under the law. That's why the Senate bill was trash anyway. So I will ask people, just
Pause it
look
right
at the
quick.
actual policies, because like I said through this entire debate, the debate.
And if that happens, what black people are not comprehending and understanding is that's going to damn near eliminate us. So we need to take that into account. And that's what we're not doing.
Black folks are not smart enough to take that shit into account.
No, I mean, just
I'm
AB,
glad you
just
said it.
AB, just to quickly speak on the last part of the qualified immunity. Um, and Charles will agree with this. Anytime you are sworn in, there are particular guidelines that you must follow within the department itself. If you violate those guidelines, at the end of the day, you go through arbitration, XYZ. But most 90% of the time, those officers are pretty much ousted.
Yeah.
Or they actually now, especially with like the situation with George Floyd,
Yeah. The
that
DOJ comes in.
yeah, before even the George Floyd situation popped off, there's things on the books that tell you what you can do and what you cannot do. The chokehold is not acceptable across all department stations, right? So this thing where people think about qualified immunity as cops have the right, no, because the lawsuits and everything else that piles up against the department. This is why the DOJ steps in, because when it gets out of hand,
Yeah.
then the Department of Justice says, okay, we need to do an internal investigation.
Let me ask you this. You may or may not know. So if you don't know, just say you don't know, right? Okay. Uh, how many lawsuits are brought against the police and police department versus how many that were actually find merit in it?
Oh man, I mean it's thousands.
I mean, what's the ratio? Maybe 100 to 1, maybe 1,000 to 1. What is it?
Ratio.
Just a gut feel. You don't have to give me an exact number.
I'll say
Ballpark it.
Yeah, just a gut feel. Not even ballpark, just gut, because it's kind of hard to ballpark unless you've seen the numbers before.
I don't even. I'll
Can't
say
even.
I don't go ahead. I don't
Give
know.
me a ratio, 100 to 1. You know, what do you feel? 100 to 1, 1,000 to 1. What is it? Because people bring suit to the police department all the time for all kind of stuff like traffic stops, or illegal searches, all
Let's
kind of
say
crap.
we'll shoot 100 to 1. We'll use
We'll say 100 to 1, right? Okay. So in other words, basically, if you get rid of qualified immunity, that means that police officer will have to go to court over every single lawsuit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So they say, because you see it all the time, right? Say a police officer, maybe he is overzealous, maybe it is whatever it is, right? So he feels I got stopped, I got searched, yada yada yada, and I don't think he did it right. And first thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go get a lawyer and sue. Okay, which he has a right to do, right? Okay. And say if I'm working, and I know that any Yahoo can just sue me for any freaking reason, right? Okay. Every time I stop somebody, okay, that can happen 2 or 3 times, and you know what? Fuck this job, okay?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And one of the things that people fail to understand, there are a set of rules for your common violations, but there's a larger arbitration that go back and forth between the department and the state when there's a massive, like someone like the George Floyd situation, right?
Yeah.
So I think people tend to forget that at the end of the day, qualified immunity is not what they assume it is.
Yeah.
Where you can just get up and go. And most cops are not. Nobody in law enforcement wakes up and say, "I'm just gonna body somebody and do something crazy."
I want to ask the question, since Kamala Harris was a DA and Attorney General, right? Has anybody asked her about qualified immunity?
No.
And now they'll ask Byron Donald. They'll ask what's his name, the Trump. They'll ask Vance about qualified immunity, right? The thing is, Donald Trump is not a prosecutor, right? Vance is not a prosecutor, okay? Kamala Harris is a prosecutor, right? She actually would. The one person that wouldn't know about qualified immunity and what cops feel about it is her. How come nobody's asked her about qualified immunity?
That's a very
come on, man. That's now you're picking on
logic.
women. You're picking on black women.
I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Okay,
Exactly.
if Kamala
Common
Harris is a prosecutor and attorney general that had to handle cops and handle this kind of stuff, because I'm sure she see all these freaking lawsuits that come up against cops all the time, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now, if she says we don't need, we need to get rid of qualified immunity, then maybe I would actually take. That's one time I'll actually take her advice into consideration, because she actually did the job. Okay.
Yeah, that should be a layup question for her.
It should be a layup, one way or the other, right? Whether whether she flips or she right or wrong, right? How come nobody's asked her about qualified immunity?
And the conversations and the personalities and the emotions will end. The policy is what remains.
Okay, closing thoughts, Gary.
I can't list all of the things that Donald Trump did that were detrimental to black people, but I can tell you that if you go to Gary Chambers Jr. on social media, there's a post where I have 15 rulings where he's appointed judges and the impact that they have on you. When you talk about what does VP Harris offer you, she offers you a plan that's clear.
So we should elect these black women who treat our black boys like shit anyway in the courtroom?
What I'm saying is, it doesn't even matter about that. Okay, the thing is, okay, what she represent is what she represented a different way out or plan. Her, everybody's read her plan. Everybody's picked through it clean with her plan, right? She hasn't given enough details. In other words, they looked at her plan and said, guess what? It's not enough.
Clear about what she's going to do to impact your life, working class people's lives. You don't need to fall in love with politicians. That's one of the main problems that we have. We want to like and love the people that we vote for. You may not like her, you may not think she's the best thing since sliced bread, but read the policies and ask, do those policies impact your life, and how will it make your life better? And talk to your cousins. There's a false narrative that my good brother and others try to carry out there, that black men are going to the other side. 80+% of black men,
yes, we are,
and have voted on the right side protecting their humanity, protecting their pockets, and advancing their communities. Black people cannot put our humanity on the shelf for our pocketbook because they will kill you on the street like a dog, and then you're gonna call somebody like me.
They're gonna try to kill you anyway, you dumb fuck.
To help get you justice. So the question is, listen to the people who fight for you every day. The good congressman represents a district that's majority white, but he tries to tell black people what to do. Y'all have a good evening.
Ooh.
What?
Well, that's been Tez on 10. Give a round of applause for Congressman Donald.
That was petty and uncalled
petty
for.
and slanderous. It wasn't petty and uncalled for.
That was
and
lame.
Gary Chambers.
He did say that was petty. And he said
that was
that's
his
petty.
closing thoughts.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys make sure.
What does
Is the district majority white? I mean, that is he's asking. Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So
that
what does
matters. So he
What
got
is-
white people to elect him and came to tell you what to do.
Oh my
What?
gosh.
All right,
Okay.
guys.
That talking point doesn't mean a damn thing. We all know that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can't make money and pass on generational wealth.
I make money and I'm passing on generational wealth.
If you can't pass on generational wealth overall, does that matter what you just said? No, it does not.
It does matter.
No, it
No,
come on,
don't.
No,
Man.
don't.
bro. We had a
I do think. Listen, I think that the facts
we had
matter.
a good conversation. We had a good conversation. I really appreciate
I do.
having that
I
conversation
respect
with
you.
you. Tez, I
No, you
appreciate
don't.
you
No, you
doing this
don't.
and letting this
No, you
happen.
don't.
We'd
No, you
love to
don't.
come back and do it again.
Absolutely. This is important, guys,
No, you
what we're doing. Revolt News. Not a lot of networks are doing this, taking a chance to have different points of view.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah. No, he don't. He was homeboy's getting the better of him. That's how come he threw that shot at the end.
Yeah. This is why I see why that state is struggling. There you go.
Louisiana, my folks are from there. Louisiana folks still have a slave mentality. They do.
Mm-hmm. I've been there once.
No, you only been there once. Okay,
Exactly.
they are different, right? Okay.
Oh, they
Yes.
hella-
I mean, basically, AL's right next to it. Right next to it, he deals with Louisiana people all the time. Okay, they have a different mentality. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm down when I was down there. Every time I go down there, right, my aunts have to pull me because I'm from the West. And I don't let white folks talk to me any kind of way, so they have to grab me by the shirt tail. Okay.
Oh, BJ, I'm gonna tell you a crazy story. One time, man, I went for a wedding. I get into what was it? I went to a Walmart. This white brother, I don't know what was wrong with him. He was talking crazy at the register. And he said something about black folks. Man, listen, I looked at him like he was crazy. I said, man, like you said, you can't let white folks talk. Yo, I have never seen a group of people that let white folks talk crazy.
That's them crazy like that. Yeah. Yep.
I'm not doing that.
That's why I can't. People ask me, "Are you gonna move down south?" I said, "I can't do it, boss. I can't do it." I said, "I'm one of them uppity ninjas, man. You're gonna south. You're gonna have find me in a tree somewhere." I said, I know that guy.
Oh no, we gonna fix you before it happens. You know?
Nah,
We like, oh, you in the wrong place, bro. What you doing here, man? What you doing? We gonna shoot you out here.
BJ's, I'll make sure my boys extract you and make sure whoever get with they got close to Trump. They ain't got that close to you. I tell you that.
Yo, I mean,
Oh boy!
Yeah,
Come back west, start singing "Many Men," right?
BGS, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I
Yes,
would sum the best way to describe you would basically best way to describe you if you were head down south would be that scene from In the Heat of the Night, you know, in the greenhouse.
They slapped the white
where
man.
we know where he slapped him back after getting slapped.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, we know why BGS got lost going to Louisiana. He was really going to Atlanta looking for the gorilla grip.
And took a wrong turn. Took a wrong turn on I-10.
No, Sauchi. He gonna be blaming me for that one because I'm the one driving.
Okay, but I did the video. Shout out to Jimmy Jordan for this term. The shit lib man of tomorrow was talking about we didn't cover this debate, so I took a look at it. I was like, yeah, it's worth covering.
Okay. So why was this debate so important to him?
Yes.
My guess is he's probably trying to claim we're afraid to cover it because Byron got trounced. That's what some people are saying online, but I don't see it.
I saw Homeboy's jaws were pretty tight at the end, so
yeah,
seems like he was pretty pissed off.
Yeah, it sounded like Gary Chambers was a little
He was little miffed. Okay, he wasn't smiling at the end.
What in the
That's why he
all
threw that
types
shot.
of blue hell?
Y'all gonna listen to him, and most of his constituents are white. That means what does that mean? That
and
means he's a super Negro. Okay,
Oh, maybe he knows something.
But
I mean, he
yeah,
knows something. Yeah.
mhm.
I mean, if you in Florida and white folks elected, that means you got to be sharp.
Yeah, that
Yes.
means you're sharp. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but again, this is where, like you said, BGS. What's the book you mentioned?
Which
Uh,
which one?
remember, so
What is it?
remember
So
What
you
many
was
of
it
them.
about? What was it
the
about?
it was basically, you know how you've brought this up in many conversations. The
Hmm.
problem that we have in the black community is that we all have socialized all economic classes.
Oh, Clark's book.
Yes, thank you.
You talking about
So yeah, so
dark
you know how
ghetto?
you yeah,
Dark
dark
Ghetto.
ghetto. So
Yeah.
you know how and I remember this from the last night or the night before, how you brought up like how social media is spilling into real media. And
Yes.
this is how I see it as a dark ghetto,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know why CNN and some of these platforms are not even having real narrators, people from the black, you know what I'm saying, the journalists
Hmm.
to really delegate this, because it's getting to like that cheap shot that homie did.
Yeah.
To me, it was uncalled for.
It was uncalled for.
Well, James, remember, they're giving the people what they want.
Yeah.
And this is why I always say I don't pay more attention to who is on stage. I look at the crowd.
Hmm.
That tells me everything.
Hmm.
Hmm. And notice the only time the clouds did clap, it was for Byron Donalds.
Yeah. And they had to look at him and don't clap for him. Don't you dare clap for
Mhm.
him.
Yeah, they had to look at it.
Hey,
I'm sure
hey, man.
Roland was staring people down like,
They had a Django Samuel Jackson. Like, you do that, boy. What you do? I'm looking at you now.
who that there, dad?
Yeah.
Who that?
Who's that nigga on that
Yeah.
name?
By the way, I
Who
got
that
50 people
motherfucker right
watching.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Like, share, subscribe, hit my cash app, support the show. Hit the super chat, support the show.
It's
Cash app
BGS
is at the
tax.
top.
If I'm up here after doing my show here, with limited brain cells as I have, please support the man. Okay.
Yeah, you missed my comment. It's all Ping's fault. It's always Ping's fault. 'Cause when I
Oh
was
boy,
watching that shit,
this
It's-
they're really riding hard for this girl, man.
Listen. The Democrats, they're like roaches. They're fucking everywhere.
They're everywhere, man.
yeah,
I can't open an email without them being everywhere. My mother was saying the same thing. My mother's a staunch Democrat. She said they are still begging for money.
Yeah. Yep. Emails.
She's raised over $3 billion and they're still begging for money.
Yeah,
Lord.
because I
Oh,
went
but
to,
I thought it was all about the money that she has.
No. They losing.
listen. I went to vote today. Guess who's out? Oh, except for one. Guess who's outside? Democrat motherfuckers putting out shit like they. I mean, when I say they're going hard, they're going hard everywhere.
They're going hard
Yo,
everywhere.
yo, Sauchi, did you get the look when you put your whoever? It doesn't matter who you vote for, but did you get the look? This the confirmation. We see eye to eye, Sauchi, right? You know,
Yeah.
you know, black folks got a way of communicating, right? You look at you
Oh
like,
yeah, exactly.
nigga, you better not, you ain't red, or you ain't got no red on you.
But-
All right.
Hey,
Good to go.
yeah, I don't see no blue on you, homie.
But you know what, man? There was one person. He was going for a member of school board, right? There's 2 seats, so I voted for. Obviously, I chose 2. One guy, one woman, and the guy was there, and he was at first he was trying to give me the spiel. After 5 seconds, because I had my sheet for the ballot, I put it up. I looked at him and I pointed at his name. I said, "Yeah, I'm already voting for you, man." He was shocked. And then I broke everything down. He said, "How you know about me?" I said, "We got the internet, man. Did my homework.
Really?
I did my background on you. Blah blah blah." I said, "No, I think you're fit, and she's fit, and that's that." He said, "Shit, you should have make a pay for me." I was like, "Well," I said, "It's information age. What do you want me to do?" But people. But I get it, because most people, they just don't do their homework.
No,
they don't do their homework. They're not really involved in what's going on. It's like. I don't have any kids, but still, like, I don't want y'all,
Yeah, shout out
Go
to
ahead.
Mississippi Delta Facts, BGS. Decades ago, Mississippi citizens sued to correct voting districts that black people have to change in Louisiana. Scared money doesn't make money. Yep.
Don't make money. Yeah,
No.
that I do know because apportionment comes up a lot in in California, right? Apportioning uh, uh, voting districts, and I know that it has to be done by the states and by the state legislature. The federal government has nothing to do with that. They can't
Correct.
they can't touch that. So
Yes.
you point at him about the federal government. They can't do anything about that. So you have to do it. You have to sue not only your federal courts but also other courts that are above them, your state courts, okay, for apportionment. If you haven't done that, you basically you're blowing in the wind, okay?
But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Now, wait a minute. I want to get this through this. Shout out to Pink Bus Lessons. We have a believe it or not, Angela Stanton King sighting.
Oh, who?
Angela Stanton King. She ran for I think Congress or something.
Okay.
And, back,
Oh, that one. Yeah, okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, was she out of Atlanta? I think it is.
Yeah, I believe Atlanta.
Okay.
And I want you to listen to this. You particularly listen to this, BJ, because I think she's been listening to somebody.
Do what we can do to help our community. It don't matter what them folks doing in office. We're going to go through this every single 4 years, and then 4 years going to go by. They're not going to do nothing but play on our emotions, okay?
Yeah.
And it's on both sides. We have to advocate on both sides to get things done for our community. Y'all know, just like I know, the real advocacy work happens by the people that's doing the grassroots work on the ground. Those are the people that you need to be supporting. If we can raise billions of dollars for Kamala to have a campaign, we can raise billions of dollars to have an Auntie Angie's house in every black community, so that we're helping black mothers and black children. So it don't matter who win, we got to do the work.
And if we can raise, how much is Trump raised?
I don't know how much.
Well, we're not going to talk about
I mean, it don't matter.
Okay,
both.
We'll talk about Trump's money.
Well, I mean, y'all running off of Kamala because she black, but she married white. Like, that's another thing I don't get.
Ooh,
like,
you racist,
everybody
you
says,
racist.
I'm not
racist,
racist, but stop telling me I got to choose this lady because she black. She didn't choose black when she was ready to marry and procreate. Why the fuck I got to choose black?
She went to HBCU. Come on now.
Hey, white people go to HBCUs.
Not like
what
that.
that
Come
mean?
on, man.
Listen,
Come on.
if having a black family is not of importance.
Excuse me, y'all. Boy, you're not connected properly. Come out, and come back in. I might let you on the panel if I feel like it.
Who's that now?
To you,
Hammer.
Then I'm not going to believe that you're going to go in the White House and make the black family an importance to you in the White House. If it's not important to you to have a black husband or to have black children, why am I running on you?
Black? And Trump ain't got no blacks around him.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
What? He gonna go in the White House and do something for blacks?
Listen.
Because it's Trump?
Listen. I trust him more than I trust her. He know he white.
No,
he know who he is.
Oh, so you want to dance with the devil?
Kamala don't know whether she white, black, or Asian.
She's black. She mentioned it many times.
Well, she ain't married black, and she ain't got no black
because
kids.
you ain't married black, I mean you ain't black.
No, that mean a lot. That tells me about your preference, and that tells me about your choices.
Sidney Poitier married a white woman.
Listen, Sidney Poitier ain't sitting up here telling me to vote for him because he black.
Is he black?
He not telling me to vote for him because he black. I'm not voting for you just because you're black.
Sidney Poitier is not here anymore, so
especially when you are married white.
You better learn. You better learn how to support black folks.
Man, please.
Come on.
I do, but you got to support black people back. I want to support. I can't support a black woman with a black husband and some black children.
Oh, you're right. Ooh.
And Pierre, stop with this madness. Kamala, the cosplaying chameleon, is not black. She's not, period. Stop acting like you haven't seen Candace Owens' investigation. We saw the whole family. And not only is she disrespectful for stealing our identity, but you're also disrespectful for going along with it and trying to force us to do it too. Angela Stanton King, she went on comedian Pierre's show and things got heated. Take a look.
Well, but you're supporting a white man who has no black.
I mean, she married to a white man. I've never been with a white man in my life.
You ain't missing out.
She married to a white man.
I don't know, but I'm just
she sleep with a white man. She answered to a white man. What's the difference between her and me? The only thing is I'm not sleeping with him.
Oh.
I go to work. I advocate. I get done. I don't have to. I ain't never had a pink.
That's why.
How you know she work?
That's how
man, you work for the white man.
Politics.
Okay, you work for the white man.
I can work for him.
Tap in.
I don't sleep with him though.
Okay. That's why I can't do domestic politics.
We so happy.
I'm sure you probably work for him
Thank you
too.
for stopping. No, I've been a self-made man since '93.
Well, I'm self-made too. I'm a consultant. I advise those white men on what they should do for our community. That's what I do.
And that's what she gonna do when she becomes the president. She gonna advise.
Nah, them white men advise.
She sound like Charleston White.
let's talk about. You just mentioned Ukraine. Do you understand how this works with allies?
I don't give a about no allies.
Are you serious?
Let me tell you something.
If you have allies in Russia, in North
Did
Korea,
you see the video of the Ukraine president with the black leotards on and the high heels swirling around and with his
what
you sitting up here
I didn't know Zelensky was like that, but okay.
No,
allies,
Zelensky is a comedian.
all of these people, billions and billions of dollars, and here Auntie Angie is on your show, still begging for help and support.
Let the allies go away.
Women,
I get that part of it.
They're telling but they're choosing
back
to
on
keep
that again.
their baby.
I get that.
But why can't we get support
Back
for the
to
American people?
Like we can.
It's the American tax
You see the
dollars.
PPP loans?
What do we got to do with Ukraine?
Right. You just said why we get money over there. There's reasons why. Because
why they don't send no money over here?
Because they're small enough. They ain't got it right now.
Let me ask you a question.
Russia want to take over there. Then what's going to happen? They're going to creep over.
What they got to do with us?
One day it's going to be us.
Let me ask you a question.
Military-wise.
It's going to be us when Kamala Harris go in. Because let me tell you something about the leaders in Russia and China.
All right.
First of all, women ain't never been respected. And black women definitely ain't going to be respected. You think Kim Jong and what's his name? Putin gonna respect Kamala Harris?
Because a woman is not respected, she can't get a job. Get out of here with that.
When it comes to foreign wars,
I don't give a.
Do you really think
that
Kim Jong and Putin are gonna respect or even acknowledge anything that Kamala Harris has said?
I bet you they will.
He said, "I bet they will." This is the privilege that we have as Americans on American soil to be able to shut.
What you call them, BGS and number 2 civilians?
Civilians, yeah. No, these
the
are
rest of the world out to the point where we can't even imagine or even see the writing on the wall clearly that these folks are hiding. They've been making moves to try to put us in World War III. It's not a joke at all what's been going on. But see, they keep black people distracted with Beyonce, Diddy, all this other foolishness that most of us don't even know what's going on.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, you just talking now.
You know what I'm saying? Why do you say because you're a woman they ain't gonna respect her so she can't have the job? Yeah, don't ever do that.
Why we got women's rights?
You always will be in a situation.
Why we got women's rights?
Why
do we have DEI?
You always be down here.
That
you always be down here if you believe women ain't got no
black men and women love hollering at each other.
We're talking about facts.
Things change all the time.
Not over there.
Sound like Red Fox.
No, you know what?
That ain't America, baby.
It doesn't matter.
It ain't America. They don't go
so
by what we
go
by.
About how they feel.
We really don't want a female president. Period. Look what feminism has done to this country.
Yeah. No. Harlem Nights.
Female president.
Why not?
Look at what feminism has done to our families.
I'm gonna turn some
you just talking about men no longer in the family. Yeah, because women are all strong and manly, feeling like they don't need a man no more.
Gee, where did she learn that from? I wonder.
And women are handling their business too.
How they handling their business?
There's a lot of women who run companies.
How? When they done broke down their sons and got their sons around here talking about they want to be women. The man need to be back.
Wow.
Well, maybe because of Joe Biden's 94 crime bill.
About Joe
Oh my. Oh yeah, we're having not Biden.
Let's talk about Joe Biden not apologizing for the 94 crime bill.
He did apologize.
He never did. How much you want to bet?
Yes, he did.
In fact, he said, "I'm not going to apologize." Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Right. Okay. Super predator.
All right.
Oh, super predator. Oh my.
I'm voting for Trump and RFK.
Women can't run the country.
No, they can't. Women can barely run their house.
Yeah.
In the
comments.
Get mad about it. I don't care. It's the honest to God truth. And I have been a woman. And I have raised 5 children. Well, I'm still a woman. I've raised 5 children, right? And I'm saying that there is if it takes a man and a woman to make a baby, right? Because women don't get pregnant on their own. Then obviously something should tell us that it should take a man and a woman to balance that child out, to raise that child. That child needs half, 50-50, right?
Sure.
So we've messed up somewhere along the line.
Many men have left. Many men have left.
Hold on. Let's talk about it for a minute, right?
Many men.
Are we blaming men for leaving?
Well,
I mean, if
some reasons there are.
Hold on, but if I'm a woman, I'm liberated by freedom of choice, right? If I don't want the baby, I get the baby, right? And I get praised for it. But if a man don't want a baby and he walk away, then all of a sudden he a dead.
Ain't nobody praising nobody.
Wait a minute, hold on. No, they are.
Sometimes you gotta respect the little ratchet, the ratchet educator.
No, they are.
Shout out to the ratchets.
They shout out there. Look up Oprah Winfrey. Shout out Joe.
They give you a choice.
Shout out Joe. A choice to do
you got abortion, girl. You got abortion.
They are.
Girl. You got
they
abortion.
are, and they paying for it. But if a man doesn't want the baby, right? that he a deadbeat, or you get to go lock him up, put him in jail, drag him every month with a child abandonment warrant. The government makes a man be responsible for the life that he creates. They shouldn't.
A man should be responsible.
If this
anyway.
all about
the government shouldn't force you to be
but a
responsible.
woman
You
shouldn't.
made the child.
A woman shouldn't.
What do you mean?
What about her? She shouldn't be responsible. If she makes a child,
and she
no, she gets to go.
Yeah.
I only have one question for you and BGS. What's her PayPal so I can donate?
I had no idea.
Me neither.
Baby, if she don't want the baby. Oh, you don't want to talk about
Your
that.
kind of girl, her little maple leaf.
No, I was channeling my inner sim, so.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, don't want to talk about that.
What about the ones that go to full time?
You don't want to talk about that.
And have the kid.
You like the sophisticated rat,
right? What about the father that wants the baby? Right, but she decides she gonna the baby just to be spiteful and hurt the father.
Damn right.
But we're talking about equality. We should go. Listen, the baby is the baby. You can't pick and choose when it's okay to kill a baby.
Hold on, it's no different than picking and choosing somebody. If you're trying to kill me, I'm gonna kill you. But if you're not trying to kill me, I just kill you.
Who the baby trying to?
You can pick and choose a lot of stuff.
You know, feminism is definitely a problem.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah, you get a headache them screaming back and forth. But I get to black folks, that's entertaining. They like to hear, a lot of panels. I see the mixed panels. They like to scream back and forth. Gives me a headache.
Yep.
Like the anti, but he likes that.
In her defense, she cooked his ass though. She cooked his ass.
Yeah, because he's simple.
AL, that's part of the problem. Because I was being sarcastic when I was asking for a PayPal, because like most dudes, they'll donate the fuck to her because she's saying the same shit dudes been saying for the longest time, but they want to hear a woman say it.
So she's similar. It's not the same. Okay.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's similar.
But
at least she's using common sense.
Yeah,
I'll give her that.
All right, I'm here. All right.
Whoopi, you're here. Oh, joy. Yippee-ki-yay. Oh, wow. I am so happy.
You shine from you shine. Man.
You guys love Lucha fanboy.
Wow.
Okay. But look, my question. Okay.
Hey, don't interrupt. Hold on a second.
Yeah, don't keep.
Okay.
Just real quick, Hammer.
Let him answer his question. Go ahead, ask the question.
Hammer?
No,
okay.
No, Andre. Let James go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Let Hammer. Go ahead, Hammer.
Yeah. So I will admit, right? That first.
Well, let's get to direct to the question. Let's get to something direct, okay? Instead of first and all this word salad, get to the direct.
Yes, right now, I recently released a video because I looked at the data, and unfortunately, it's looking like Kamala Harris is just looking to pull some things. She's struggling with some black voters and some white blue collar voters, right?
Oh, shocker!
Hopefully, she'll be able to make that ground because. God help us if that white supremacist gets back into office.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Let me ask you this, okay? Because I asked I asked this to my my grandson's father. Okay. So basically, you know who Strom Thurmond used to be, right? KKK Central. Okay.
I think he was a Klan. Right?
Guess who's at his eulogy, okay?
Yes.
And gave his eulogy at his funeral.
Yeah, it was Joe Biden, right?
It's Joe Biden. Guess who wrote your crime bill?
Joe Biden.
So was Donald Trump at any one of those events?
No, he was not.
But you don't mind. But hold on a second. But you don't mind Joe Biden being in office, do you?
Because he has changed as a man. Yes.
No. Since when?
Oh boy,
Come on. Let's be honest here.
How has he changed?
How has he changed? Look, could he have some of the same remnants of the past? Yes.
No,
but we're not going to see.
No, he's the same person. The thing is, you just don't say that like he's the same person.
Garbage.
He's not attending Ku Klux Klan rallies, VGS. Last I checked.
Hey, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. But basically, his two mentors in the Senate were both Klan members.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. But I believe that based on
I don't want to hear the shit about what the fuck you believe. Okay, the facts are the facts. Okay, he actually called George Bush damn near the P word because George W. Bush would not sign the freaking crime bill, right? And he got another. Hold on a goddamn second, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
No, he actually got it when Bill Clinton, who's another guy from a southern state, got together, actually put that thing into office, sent like 20 million black men into prison. Okay, but Trump's a racist, really.
Like, come
on, CJ. You live in a white dominant country. Obviously,
I don't want to hear about what I live in, Negro. You're not even as old as my youngest child, okay?
What is that supposed to be?
I was born in the goddamn South. My mother was a sharecropper. What were your parents?
My parents. What? First of all, my ancestors were being ruled by the French.
No. I don't want to hear that shit. Were your parents sharecroppers? Hold on a second. Was any one of your parents, okay, working in Jim Crow South picking cotton?
Honestly, not BJ. My parents
you cannot tell me shit about racism. You wasn't even around, Negro. Shut up.
Yes, I can because my people literally.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Off from a city. Was your father ever rent off from a city? If your father never rent off from a city,
the Dallas police ran my father out of freaking town. Okay, you can't tell me about racism, sir.
Yes, yes, I can because my people.
No, you can't. Number one, you ain't old enough, and number two, you ain't even from here, man.
That's what I'm talking about. BGS, you know white supremacy is a global.
Don't try to placate me, man.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't try to placate me. I cannot go to your country and tell you your history and your culture and your country, can I? Because I don't know it.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
No, I can't. I don't know it. Okay, but you cannot tell me something that I lived and my parents lived, my grandmother lived. Okay, my grandmother took a beating from my uncle because they were trying to lynch his ass. Okay, that's where I come from. Okay.
Have you ever been beaten by two lesbian cops in front of your own
the same guy that was on that stage from Louisiana? Okay, that's where my folks are from. Okay. I know those people because that's where my folks are from. That's why I know him. Okay, that's why I know how Louisiana gets down. That's why I know how racism gets down. Okay, and I know Joe Biden with that shark grin and what he did because I was alive when he actually passed that goddamn thing. Okay.
Hello.
Because these white people actually make money, dump this crap into Los Angeles, which is the ground central for crack era. Okay, I was ground central for this crap. Okay, you can't tell me nothing about this. Okay, you can't tell. And after the Soviet Union fell, then they needed to get rid of the problem. Guess what they did? That's why Joe Biden in '89 started with this crime bill crap because he needed to stop that scourge that they started. Okay, don't tell me about this stuff because you have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Hammer, I can tell you from being in law enforcement. Hammer,
you can't tell me nothing about white supremacy, sir.
Hammer, let me say something, man. I've been in law enforcement for about 8 years now. I have traveled this country, and I can tell you, as a black man who trains in different parts of this country, you can see the racist remnants in some of these southern states, and even some of the stuff like you talking about Louisiana. You know how many times the DOJ has intercepted like Louisiana's law enforcement for the corruption and the abuse? So I can only spill over from the history of what black folks been going through.
And I can tell you one of the most racist cities in the country ain't in the South, boss. It's called Boston.
Hello, say it again because he ain't gonna believe you.
Oh yeah.
No, I have seen you going more
No,
stuff down south.
I'm gonna tell you. Ask what's his name before he died. Asked him for the Boston Celtics, because
Yeah,
he
Bill
was in his
Russell.
real
Bill
Russell. He was
Russell.
actually in the winter with his goddamn shotgun. Okay.
Bill Russell. I
They,
mean, even
the,
Patrice
in, the,
O'Neal, who grew up
in
in
the mid '70s, Boston was having school riots to keep black kids from
Yes.
being bussed. Okay. Don't tell me what I don't know. Okay.
But it's just a
You
utopia over here, BTS.
You know
in
what
this
I hate?
one.
What I hate is you New Jack Negroes that just got here
Yep.
telling me about shit that I fucking lived through. Okay. About who's racist? I know who.
Yeah.
I know who the hell. I know the hell Joe Biden is. I know who the hell Donald Trump is. Okay. I know who these people are. Right. Okay. Donald Trump was actually snorting cocaine with black rappers while Joe Biden was actually passing the freaking crime
Yeah,
bill. Okay.
Hammer. I live in Indiana.
Oh.
Do you want to know what the nickname of Indiana is? You know what the nickname of Indiana is, right? To black people,
It's Clan
the
country.
capital.
What?
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me finish. The capital of the KKK.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where it started.
Like,
Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Don't even talk to me about no racism, man, because you have no idea what the fuck
you
you're
have
talking
no idea.
Listen, I've talked to older brothers who were around during the they're older than BGS. They're 20 years older than BGS. Brothers that traveled around the South and Indiana. You know what one of them told me? I would rather live in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I asked him why, because obviously because of Mississippi history. He said because the white folk were at least up front and you knew where to go.
Yeah, them sundown towns.
Sundown towns.
Sundown towns.
Downtown.
And
There are
still
more sundown towns than
you know
Midwest.
what?
Sundown
I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm telling you, this have to be in the 1990, right after the 70s loan crash, the first one. Okay, when they actually had to resell all those houses. Okay, and me and the family actually looking for a house, right? So they had all these houses in the Federal Registry, right? So there's a town called Ukaipa, right, out in the valley, right? And so there was a house for sale. So I said, let me go out and look at this house before I actually put a bid out for it, right? So I get out, drive out there, I get out the car, and I'm getting ready to walk to the house. So I look at the tree that's right in front of the house, right? And there's a swastika drawn in it. Guess what the fuck I did? Got my black
Got
ass
the hell out of there.
back in the car and never came back. Okay?
Alvida's
We know how to read
I was-
signs, sir. We can read signs.
And that is sunny Southern California, sir. Don't tell me what I don't know about racism.
My thing is, one, you know this BGS.
How do you know what I know? No. How do you know? No. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How do you know what I know?
Because I've heard on you. First of all, I would assume that based on how much of your apology you
how do you know what I know?
What time is it?
I'm assuming you know these things. Am I wrong?
No, you said you can say I assume, but you can't tell me what I know. Okay.
Okay, I assume BGS that you know that white supremacy is a global thing. Your lifestyle here in America, even though it's less than white Americans, is predicated on the exploitation of the global South, particularly the African continent.
Actually, I actually did a whole bunch of research. Guess what all this shit started, man?
Yeah, actually, Mississippi Delta. Shout out to Mississippi Delta. That's a good question.
Wait before there was a global exploitation of the South. It started in where? America first. That's where the money came from. Sir.
Yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Donnie Mac. I misread it, but he asked a good question. Do you know what a green book is, Hammer?
No, I've never heard of that. What's that?
Oh my God!
No. You don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Quit arguing with somebody who is your elder who has been through this. Dude, stop. Just stop. Stop.
Anyway, you can't talk racism with me, sir.
Open white supremacy.
No. Hammer, be quiet, man. Be quiet, man. No idea what you're talking about.
If I'm wrong,
please just stop.
Hammer, hold on.
No, leave him alone.
So I'm just getting muted, right?
Now,
dude,
if I'm not mistaken, a green book is that book they hand out to all the safe places to go for black people.
yeah, that's what the green book
It
is.
was the black person's travel guide for safety and refuge
Yes.
for people who were treating them like crap in the South, i.e., white people. This was a book that it was a must-have book for all black families traveling throughout the South. They needed it. Without that book, they were going to be lynched, if not worse.
And if that maggot get the way you need that green book back.
Man, you have no idea what the fuck you talking about, man. We keep telling you, shut up, man.
I hope.
Edgar, you need to be looking on your side, bro.
Yeah,
Hammer, I think you really need to do a deep analysis and research on actually racism in America.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of making all these assumptions, because at the end of the day, hold on, let me finish, Hammer. If all of us, and I'm a millennial who knows about the historical situation of Joe Biden, and what they always tell you, you are who your mentors are.
Yeah.
If the man can be mentored by two hardcore racists, and you're going to tell me that indoctrination, all of a sudden he changed, but when he was on the Breakfast Club, you ain't black if you ain't vote for me. That man hasn't changed.
That was the biggest racist remark he could have ever made while running for office.
That man has not changed.
He's a neocon. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, I'll grant you. Okay, when did he get his come to Jesus moment, Hammer? Stop being racist.
Don't worry, we'll wait.
No.
Please let us know.
When did that happen?
What do you mean? Like when he?
In other words, he's no longer racist, right? When did that happen?
Okay, first of all, honestly, white people in general.
No. That's not the fucking question I asked you. We're talking about Joe Biden. No. Dude, stop doing the Gen Z word salad, okay? I asked you a direct question. It is a word salad. You're trying to avoid the question. When did Joe? When that ain't no wow. Yeah, wow, Negro. Wow. Yes, wow. Okay. Answer the goddamn question. When did Joe Biden stop being racist? At what moment?
First of all, I cannot say whether he is or isn't. He could still be racist.
When did he change? Okay, because we know what he was. When did he change?
I don't know what's in his heart. All I can see is that he's much more willing to work with black people.
When did he change?
In regards to what? Him working with black people?
Him being a racist, yes. When did it change?
I don't know whether he's a racist. I can tell his heart. He can still be saying the N-word behind cool. That's not a problem. My problem is
everybody on this channel is telling you he is a lifelong neocon racist, but you're the only one up here trying to tell us we do not know what we're speaking of. Therefore, who's dense and who isn't?
I don't know what he's saying behind closed doors, or I can judge him as which one is willing to black people. And as far as I'm concerned, we have a better chance getting stuff from him than fucking Trump. Trump already got the basketball.
How do you know that? What did you get from Trump? What did you get from Biden? What did you get from Biden?
I'll give you a good example, right? Let's look, for example, at okay. If Joe Biden, let's say Hillary Clinton won in 2016, right?
Stop with the word salad. Stop with the word
salad. If Hillary Clinton won in 2016, right, and she's able to replace Pat the court.
Say what?
Affirmative action, right? We don't have this right-wing court that is going after your civil rights.
Okay. Let me ask you. Okay, you're a smart guy, right? Okay. What was the court before? Okay. How many conservatives were in the court?
Right, DJ. I told you before, center right. It was not
No, it wasn't center right. It was right. Okay.
It was right. 4 to 5.
Yeah.
5 to 4. Right. Okay.
4 liberals, 1 swing conservative voter. Right.
Who was the swing?
He voted for gay marriage. He is a center right person.
Who's the center?
It was, I think, Kennedy, he was the guy in the middle who was shooting back and forth. He was known for flipping from left to right. That's what made the court balance. He was the one, I believe, who wanted to even oppose affirmative action because they kept trying to go after it. He was the one who wanted liberals to I believe, legalize gay marriage. That's not a conservative was way more to the center. Now what you got is they already took away affirmative action. You want to keep going? What's next, BGS?
Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, so you elect Kamala Harris. How's it going to change the court?
If Kamala Harris get into office, right, potentially they can replace some of the, I think the 6-3, right, replace some of the older ones left there, right?
How?
Have them sit down.
How?
If she gets into office,
somebody said to kill this man because of lifetime appointment.
Who's oldest? Who's old enough that to be replaced now?
Okay, so we have what? We have Kagan, right? We have that other black girl who came through. I think we have Sotomayor. My coach was 3 females. I will say Sotomayor. Have her replaced. Well, at least get that.
Sotomayor
She
is
got in
liberal.
less than 10 years ago. What are you talking about?
I understand that the point is to while you're waiting for somebody all other seats open.
Let me break it down to you, homie. Okay, what's at stake? Okay, let me break it down to you, right? Okay. Joe Biden didn't do you no favors by bringing in a whole bunch of immigrants, right, and pushing you down further, right, and then giving what was supposed to go to you and your black queens and your black people to who? Immigrants, okay? Was that a favor to black people?
No, it was not. But BCS, you know very well.
I don't skip past that, okay? Was that a favor to black people? So
no,
what else?
It was not a favor to black people.
So did Joe Biden step up when for the farmers with that farm bill? Okay, did he go to bat for them?
But hold on, BG. Hold on,
No. Did he go to bat for them?
Who fought against it? Who fought against it?
No. Basically, nobody fought against it. The thing is, did he go to bat for them when they stopped it?
It was the Republicans.
Did because the Republican Congress actually helped voted in. Did he fight against? Did Joe Biden actually? Did Joe Biden go to bat for them farmers?
Based on, I don't think he did. But at the end of the day, he's the one who got it through.
No, he didn't get. No, he didn't get it through. He didn't get it through. Okay, he wasn't in office when it got through.
What are you talking about?
The farm bill went through before he took office. Okay.
No, I look back on that.
Donald Trump, Bucko. That was Donald Trump.
The farm bill went through before he took office. Okay.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I have to look into that. I'll take your word for it. But still, who stood against it, BGS?
Huh?
Who stood against it?
It wasn't
liberal. It was who? The whites on the right. Wasn't it, BGS?
How do you know it wasn't the white liberal farmers that were against it?
Because those are the organizations going after it.
No. There are white liberal farmers.
Bold enough to go out there and go to court.
There's a whole bunch of white liberal farmers. Basically, guess what? Your affirmative action. Most of the women that were actually against affirmative action were white liberal females.
Mm-hmm.
Your friends. You know why? Yes. Because they, I'll get to you, right?
I don't want to hear about it. You know why? The thing is, go back and do your homework, son. Stop yelling at me. Don't call my name no more. Okay? Hey! You said enough. Okay? You've dominated enough. Now sit back. Okay? If you want to boot up a stream, we go back and forth. Boot up a stream. Okay? Instead of taking up everybody else's time.
I promise you, if you do, you go get eviscerated. I promise you on everything.
If you want to boot up a stream and I'll come on, we can do that. But they're not going to take up people's time on the panel. Okay? You said enough.
Whew.
Yeah. Word salad and moving the goalposts and all that kind. You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Yeah, you were just dealing with Lucy and you were Charlie Brown, boss.
Barely went on here if I want to talk to us about racism. Good Lord.
He don't.
BGS,
I have a question to
I
ask.
mean, a 23-year-old dude from the continent, okay, gonna tell
22.
me a 65-year-old man whose folks were sharecroppers in the freaking South, had to grow up and
Right.
go to them racist ass schools in the 60s and 70s, okay? Tell me about racism. Get the entire fuck out. You had no idea what the fuck you talking about, boy. Shut up and sit down, okay?
Man,
That was funny.
confused. I was confused, man. I got up to get a drink, sat down. I'm like, what the fuck is what? I mean, it was literally not even 10 seconds.
It was
What
called
is this?
chaos. That's what you call
B-
chaos. That was
but
control
Yeah.
chaos.
BGS, you know I enjoy the fuckery, but like that is like not even worthy of your master teacher response channel, man.
Hey, I mean, trust and believe. I didn't know that there were trolls in Taranga. First of all,
The thing is, I can tell you, and Namer can tell you, he'd be highly offended if I brought my black ass to his home country and try to tell him about his history and how politics works in his country, right? He'd be highly offended.
absolutely. And I would take great offense to it. But then again, my elders, they would probably sit you down, BGS.
And
Most likely,
rightfully so. Yeah.
Yeah.
rightfully so. But hang on. But they would also probably discuss with you over tea or over traditional coffee, because we have to be very cordial and respectful. We're grown folks. We're not going to get physical unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And we try to talk to you and make you understand. I remember when I was younger, with my own elders, sometimes there were certain things that happened in like back in the 2000s. I was young, but I was a little angry about. Some of it I'm still kind of angry about. I'm disillusioned now, but my uncles, many of whom were in fact, can I change my avatar? I need to change my avatar so you understand what I'm talking about. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Shaft, I got to change you up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. Like, I'm not sure why this retarded ass gay nigga is getting all this airtime.
Because
He's
loud.
not. I don't think he swings that way. He's just an incel.
He's an incel. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I don't know
if
if that's
you're an incel to the
that's better or
point where-
worse.
Yeah.
If you're an incel
Anyway.
to the point where you're talking about dolls, like you're close to the line, I'd say.
Excuse me, Andre, if I may. But, BGS, if you see my avatar right there,
Yeah.
That's my parents' generation. And I was taught to know better and be respectful to other people's cultures and other people's histories and whatnot, at least to learn about their histories. So whenever I meet somebody who's of another culture, like, for example, I've met some Kurds, and the first thing I usually say, just to ingratiate myself with them, is like, what part of Kurdistan are you from? Immediately, they're going to be like, this African knows something about Kurdistan. And then we start talking. And then when I tell them where I come from, and many of them who happen to be Muslim, they're going to realize, oh, wait, your ancestors are such and such, right? Okay. And that's how we interact with we trade, we exchange information like that. I don't lecture them about their stuff. They don't try to lecture me about my stuff. But we learn new things about one another. In fact, I have a question to ask regarding Joe Biden. Now, there's a thing called the Mason-Dixon line. I'm familiar with that. And if I understand that the Mason-Dixon line does go through dissect Delaware in a certain way. So which side of the Mason-Dixon line was he on? Is his district from?
I don't
when
know.
He was a senator.
I don't remember.
But the thing is, who did he side with? So
exactly.
And that's who he sided with. And these are known Dixiecrats. And then when they changed to be Republican, he was still on their side.
Yeah. I just looked.
Fair point, sir.
Joe Rogan's interviews now hit the halfway mark to 80 million. It's
Wow.
41.
Mind you,
41. Okay.
Mind you, they tried to suppress. They basically censored it. Where you could.
I'd do another search and I'd type it in to actually.
A lot of people are saying that people are being basically Google got the AOK to blend. Yeah, it was slow that search engine down. But
in name it, I've been a trucker for a long time. The Mason-Dixon line, you can rest assured Delaware is north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Hell yeah,
that's actually Yankee country.
Yeah.
You know, I was gonna say before y'all knocked him out, or before he knocked himself out. We should create a list of all the sundown towns and all the most racist parts of America, and say, Hammer, go there, and go up there and visit with Motel 6 or get an Airbnb and go find out for yourself.
He's scared of women. He's scared of women. He ain't going to no sundown town, man.
Yeah, because BJ's, I can tell you from traveling, doing some of these courses, and there's some parts of like Florida, Jacksonville, Virginia that I had to drive through. I said, man, I keep that shit right on near that passenger seat.
Yeah.
Because it's sad,
I mean,
it's sad to say, but there are parts of America that still have not changed, and they do not care what uniform you wear, who you're associated with. You in the wrong town, boss.
And those sundown towns ain't got shit on Orange, Texas, and slash Vida, Texas. Carry your ass to them two towns if you want to pass sunset.
What fucking annoys me
recall-
about that? What annoys
Go
me
ahead,
about
Andre.
that dude is like all I've been seeing him saying like across different channels is Trump is a fascist and you guys are tap dancing for Trump. That's all he fucking talks about.
It's basically he's taking the CNN
Yeah,
Democratic talking points and
they're
just parroting them.
brainwashed.
They're
They don't know.
brainwashed
They
like a
don't
little
even.
parrot.
They don't even know what a
brainwashed.
Yeah,
fascist
did
is.
they even give him a cracker before Polly actually started
Yeah.
speaking?
Yo, you
BJ,
want to see actual fascists? Come to Italy. There's still plenty of them running wild,
There are
especially
still
in
some
around
of them.
parts
Oh
of
hell,
Italy.
there's still there. Go to Ukraine. There's tons of them.
I mean, what kills
Oh,
me?
indeed.
What kills me is that the fact that Trump can have a sold out arena in Madison Square Garden,
Mm-hmm.
and these motherfuckers can say this is a Nazi rally. And I said to one of my partners, I said, man, y'all didn't learn from 2016, did y'all?
Nope.
Y'all did not learn. Y'all keep
Not a
having
damn thing.
No, they keep having this elitist mind. We know what's best. Y'all need to research. I said, y'all gonna get what y'all deserve on November 5th.
Yeah, one way or the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is that he was already president,
Yeah.
and they have the same or even worse talking points. But it's like, wait a minute, he was president, and we're
For 4
still
years.
here,
Yeah, we're
and we
still
didn't
here.
have any major conflicts. What are you talking about?
Yeah, basically we don't the whole because I actually asked right because we had some work done on the house. I asked my sisters right because she hired the guy right and she talked to him right. All the guys are actually doing construction work on the house right. They actually benefit from Donald Trump because the stuff that he allowed gave them the training for free. Okay, they actually benefited from it. They're actually Trump supporters. These are black blue collar guys. Okay.
Who benefit. The only
Who
problem
benefit.
I would say about the Trump administration
Mhm.
was the man couldn't stay off his goddamn phone.
That's his.
He always had to be on.
Yeah, but that's
who
That's
you
the
elected.
prerogative.
yeah, that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
Hey,
Unfortunately.
hey, compared to conflicts around the world
And a nigga on the phone.
and a little bit of drama in the White House, I don't know about you, man.
I mean, if he was giving migrants $2,000 a month to be here, okay, you'd have known it. You'd have tweeted
Oh,
it
yeah.
out.
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
have known
Oh, yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't have had to wait 2.5 years to find out.
Yo, what they doing, BJ? What
Absolutely.
they doing over there in that office, man? They signed some legislation.
Now, address something Hammer did say is that he addressed how Michelle, I mean not Michelle, but Kamala Harris is struggling with blue collar mail workers. Well, this
No
might have
shit,
something to
Sherlock.
do with that. This
No,
little
She's struggling because of her policies. It had nothing to do with what she's saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This was well before Michelle Obama opened her mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of poor broke white folks running around looking at that Biden administration like, man.
There are more poor white folks than there are poor black folks.
There are.
Oh yeah.
Factually speaking. So
You think they're gonna just flip in their household? A white woman's gonna tell her husband, "You better vote for Kamala."
Yeah,
But get your
and for the most part,
good luck with
most
that.
people were not wholeheartedly pleased with Donald Trump when he was actually president, right?
Yeah.
We actually thought, okay, this dude, because I thought this dude actually knows what he's doing, right? Okay, he's actually going to stabilize the country, yada yada yada. Things will get better. So all the little stuff that Donald Trump screwed up on, will actually correct, right? This Negro came in and made it worse.
Exactly.
Made it worse.
That's how could you like basically how could you mess this up?
Career politician.
Yes.
And 8 years.
Yes.
As a
Vice
vice
president.
president.
Yes.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Yes. And how can you
I remember.
how could it get worse?
I remember it was I was listening to a podcast by Dan Carlin. Most people might remember Dan Carlin, Common Sense or Hardcore History. He asked the question. So we looked at. So you see Donald Trump was. But when you look at what would you look at Joe Biden? What do you see? A return to the past, a return to the way things were. The thing that got us in the mess that we are in the first place. You want to go back to that? I'm not a big fan of Trump either, but returning back to the status quo that got us in the mess that we were, that got Trump voted in the first place.
Man, you can say all you want about Orange Man. Orange Man is crazy, but he is not going to disrupt his own household for the benefit of others.
Oh yeah, I have to send you
we love to affectionately call him Don Cheeto around these parts.
Yeah, I had to send you this video, Sauchi, on YouTube, right, where this chick that actually was part of the Fed and actually helped kill the Glass-Steagall Act actually admitted that they were wrong. Got to see you that one. She was actually an insider as far as currencies and crap like that. This is right up Sauchi's alley.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, she actually admitted that we were wrong.
They were wrong.
You wanted controls over currency and banking and stuff like that. Wasn't that the Glass-Steagall Act? I was actually on the committee to help kill it. So, but I admit we probably went too far. It probably was the wrong thing to do. Probably, yes. Probably, yes.
She waited.
Oh, really?
She waited long enough so they don't touch her ass.
Yeah. The statute of limitations is gone, right? Yeah.
Now, BGS, did they have the 1980s, 1990s? You know, when the person they black out the face and they change the voice?
No, she said, well, that was so long ago, and it took so long for it. I had to get an old white lady credit. She actually called her out on it.
Yeah, she made a phone call. They dead? They all dead? All right, we can do this interview right now.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
To sum it up, to quote Dolomite, since Snowman isn't here, to quote Dolomite, I just want to say, bitch, are you for real?
It was hilarious. I said, I got to send Sauchi this one. He'll get a kick out of that one.
Please.
Yeah.
You know, yes.
Go ahead.
I think. Oh no, sorry. I don't want to interrupt the flow. I was going to ask you a personal question, but sorry.
Before you do that, Namer, I'm looking, scrolling through YouTube. Phil just did a thing on guess who has low voter turnout? Black voter turnout. Louisiana. Oops.
Oh gosh. Oh well, I understand him screaming and being frustrated, man. But you know, doggone well, screaming at somebody that's a congressman in Florida is not going to help what you doing what's going on with your representation in your state in Louisiana.
You can't do anything.
So, you guys I only seen the response. I don't know what was initially said, but all I seen was Trump in the garbage truck. Apparently, Biden was calling was he calling all Trump supporters garbage?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what they felt way back in 2008.
Yeah, same thing with Hillary. They ain't learned their lesson.
Yeah. The deplorables were the deplorables back then.
2016.
Basket deplorables.
No, in 2008 because Sarah Palin had them riled up.
Oh, right.
Remember that? And basically, McCain had to apologize and say, no, it's not like he's a good man. No, he's not a.
They kept calling him an Arab, or when they kept Arab, Muslim, and Colin Powell had to come in on CBS and endorse Obama and call out his party for the shit they said.
Yeah, those are the people that got loose under Trump. Okay, they had been there.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I would say about MAGA. You insult them strong enough, or they gonna come out in droves.
Oh yeah,
they some gangsters, and if they ain't gonna put hands on it, they gonna be in that voting block. They were saying this is the first time the Republican Party has had so much early voting ballots.
Yeah.
That's why you don't see
Ooh.
him at the end. They're like, no, 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 no. Y'all think we're gonna be coming last minute? No, no, we're gonna get this set. We're gonna get everything settled.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
haven't received anything from Republicans. Like anything coming in, no texts, no emails, no nothing.
No, they silent killers. That's
Like
What they
Peter
call
looked
silent majority.
the silent majority.
Yeah.
like
They're not
Peter
fucking
looked
around.
And
Peter
yeah,
looked
we'll
he
we'll see. I know what the polls say, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Be just like I said, man. We popping bottles, man. I'm gonna cut you a set. all the
Oh
brothers
no
on
no
the
no no!
AB
There ain't
getting
no
a set.
popping bottles. I'm driving them to Georgia. In fact, you better
Oh,
have your bags packed, motherfucker.
Well, you probably have to get a pass because she might be behind the federal prison. So
yeah.
I had to get a conjugal
Oh,
visit.
Yeah.
Can I
oh,
get a
don't
conjugal
worry, don't
visit
worry.
from Gorilla Grip?
Yeah. Yeah.
BJS,
Uh,
understand, I got a
yeah.
lot of my people down in Georgia, so I just got to make a couple calls. I'm pretty sure I got some relatives down in Georgia who could probably help me talk to the right people, and we'll hook you up real good. Make
Yeah,
sure
for sure.
everything's good, all right?
Fannie Willis, how you
right.
like them apples, man? How you like them
AB
apples?
trying to
BGS, if they can't get you Gorilla Grip, will Stacey Abrams do?
Oh
No,
no no
Oh
no
hell
no no.
no,
no
I,
no. I
I,
get, I get, I
not
get
unless I want to
Gorilla Grip.
practice munching carpet,
oh
you know.
oh
But if I get a hold of,
hell, you were wrong for that.
I'll make her leg shake though. You know, I'll make her leg shake.
No.
No.
AL. You just
AB trying
traumatized me
to
with the
AB
thought of that, man.
trying to
You're going from Gorilla Grip to a real gorilla.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Go real hard.
I can see Gorilla Grip, but no, Stacey, no.
BGS, don't let it give you head. You know that big gap between the teeth?
Nah. I mean,
Hey,
I'll do it right.
they say them
I'll,
Gap A defense, teeth mouth ass bras, they suck the best dicks. I don't know what y'all talking about.
that is true. That is true.
What you hold on, AB? What you talking
Man,
about? Listen to
AB
what
got a
I'm
That
lot,
was
saying.
brother.
Namer. That was
Pay
Namer.
attention,
That was
AB.
me, sir.
The
That
Gap
was me,
AB
A
was
boss.
discriminating a
defense,
lot.
Gap mouth bras suck the best dick.
Man,
Take my
they some
word for
wild
it.
animals behind that closet, man. They some,
Alexa, can you please play Got Some Teeth by Obi Trice?
Mm.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
This election cycle has been insane.
I told you it was gonna be wild, man. I
Yeah.
told you. If they don't convict him, April 11th, they don't convict him and send him to jail, it's gonna get wild. And it got buck wild.
You
I saw a
called
Buck
it.
video
wild as a
of
motherfucker.
I saw a video of a chick screaming at a baby.
I saw that, yeah, with the baby.
Two
Yeah,
two
they
year old. I'm
lost it.
like, are y'all serious?
Yeah,
yeah.
Had a
yep,
baby.
But that's what
Yeah.
happens when you didn't lock his ass up. So you
yeah.
deserve everything that come with it.
Yeah, they pushed it, I was telling my sister about January 6th, right? And I said it was the Supreme Court that let him go. And no, they didn't. Basically, he was tried for January 6th. Okay, they impeached him. They put him on trial, and the highest court in the land let him go. Highest court in the land is not the Supreme Court; it's the Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is the highest court in the land, and they let him go.
Yep.
So I don't hear nothing about January 6th. Okay, you tried him. How come you didn't convict him when you had him?
It ain't a hard decision.
Including the Republicans that didn't like him. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. You deserve everything. That's
Yeah,
the orange man
everything.
all the way.
So you cut a deal. So he reneged on the deal. Okay, he altered the deal.
Yeah.
Master teacher, you summed it up best. When
Pray
you
I don't
said,
alter any further.
America deserves the leaders
I
it
mean, but
gets.
BGS,
Yes.
what is the man good at? Making deals, right? So
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
The
y'all
art
all
of the
got
deal.
played.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
master
And so
deal.
Trump, you're not supposed to run. I've altered the deal.
Rest in power to
You know
James Earl
what?
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I should quote Roddy Piper. That one time we knocked out of somebody said, "Just when you think you got all the answers, I change the question."
Mm-hmm.
So, I think he should have went to jail for January 6th. Yes, I do. Okay, but the thing is, I got to give the boy credit. Okay, you walked through with how many indictments and 4 trials and how many attempts on
Like
your life?
90
And you,
different felonies.
yeah, and you have with 4 attempts on your life, and you still here, man.
BGS,
I don't know, man. If you walk on water, I'll believe it. Okay.
And
BGS,
still
how the
fill up
song
One
go?
MSG.
time.
How the
So what?
song go? BGS, through the fire, through the wind. That
BJ,
boy
that's
was
why
cold with it too.
AB and BJ. That's why I don't. When I hear people say, "Oh, he's a felon," I say, "Y'all let the felon out the jail,
You
right?
let him out of jail. He's a felon. Yeah, you let him out.
I
Let
just,
the nigga out."
Yeah,
I just say one thing, man. He's a chosen. I am the chosen one. He's the
yeah, he
chosen.
can say
Hey,
that.
man,
Yeah.
if you missed that bullet like that, I'm done. I don't have.
God was looking out
I
for your
want some
monkey
of that
ass.
luck.
God has said it is time for you, my
I'm
He
like,
said,
son.
"Yeah,
oh
you have
man.
been ordained." I said,
You've been
I,
ordained.
if you, I said, cause I knew what was going to happen to him, right? All the trials, all kind of stuff. I knew they were going to line all that stuff up. They're going to try to bankrupt him. They were going to try to line him up and send him to jail, all that kind of stuff, man.
I still
And
see
they
some.
gonna try
And
to
if
pop
they
his
didn't work, I
ass.
knew they were going to try to, end him. Okay, none of that stuff worked.
None of that work.
He's like Rasputin. You can't kill him.
And you know what's interesting, man? All these religious black folk, man, that are Democrats. You know, if it was the other way around,
Oh
where
yeah.
the bullet missed her, they would have been like it was
Uh,
divine
oh
and
yeah.
blah 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 blah
Oh yeah.
blah.
Oh yeah. She'd been going down the street. They've been laying palms in front of her donkey, and if she'd be singing
You mean like
Hosanna,
Palm
right?
Sunday?
No,
Like
yeah,
Palm Sunday.
like they be singing
Hosanna,
like
as they
Jesus
say.
Christ Superstar,
Yeah.
singing Hosanna, right? Hosanna, Hosanna.
Yeah.
Well, she is a hoe, so Hosanna, Hosanna,
Yeah,
Hosanna.
What BGS is like
yeah.
BJs, you need to come
I
visit an Orthodox church during Palm
like
Sunday.
Okay,
let me finish.
I might.
Like I thought that like Trump eventually, like you already know that like he's great with social media and just media in general. So like I thought that he would have been with the whole many men thing that was going on. But,
Well, he tried to get 50 Cent to come in twice, and 50 Cent wouldn't come in.
Yeah.
So.
well, like I only recently just found out. Well, I heard at least that like the reason why 50 like it's not even 50 because at the time like, he was signed to Eminem, and Eminem is like hardcore anti-Trump. So
I don't know what's going on, but the thing is, for the convention they tried to license the song, he wouldn't release it, and then I think he tried to get him to come to the rally in New York, and they offered him $3 million, he turned it down. So I don't know what's up.
Yeah, y'all hit my Cash App, support the show. We're about to have a little fun here. This is how depraved these bitches have gotten on the Democrat side.
Amen. Let me break it down for y'all. You vote for Trump, you're voting for your celibacy. You're voting for your abstinence. I'm gonna tell you that shit right now. 'Cause
right, nobody's trying to do that.
if wins this election and this abort ban goes nationwide,
Mm-hmm.
women are gonna start locking their vajayjays up like a fucking
Good.
chastity belt. I don't care if you're married or not. You won't be getting no nookie. Not at the sake
Okay.
of dying. Not at the sake of losing a child and not being able to carry another one. Not at the sake of being crucified for it. Y'all ain't getting shit. I
Okay.
literally will be voting for your abstinence. I don't care if you married. I don't care if you single. I don't care if you got a side chick, a sneaky link. Ain't shit gonna be happening. Nigga, we gonna turn into motherfucking nuns. And good luck getting.
What if you have a passport?
Yes. I told you, BGS, you need a clip. There are 4 billion other coochies in the world.
in the
Why
planet,
do we
yeah.
need to deal with you?
Mhm.
You can always go get a vibrator. We don't give a shit.
Trump plans on getting away from pornography. There won't be any
Especially ones that
pornography
look
on the
like
damn
that.
internet. I might want to start pairing up with each other. You won't be getting it from women. And although women do love to get it on, baby, we're not gonna be getting it on at the sake of our lives. At the sake of going to
Bullshit.
jail? Are you
Bullshit.
Lock your fucking
Bullshit.
mouth. Go ahead, find
Bullshit.
you a man.
I don't think this bitch is ADOS.
Cause ain't no woman gonna want to put her life at stake, married or not. Oh, I forgot. There won't be no contraceptives either. He plans on getting rid of those. And go ahead, try to grape one of us. Right now, they're cutting off men's shit in certain states. I think you may want to think about that too.
Well, black women is just like that.
I know.
Man. And
I
they
know.
and they say we hate them. Okay.
Yeah.
This woman ADOS, I don't know. She looks like
Yeah, she
one
ADOS.
of my.
She's Southern ADOS at that.
Okay, I thought she looked like one of my people. That's what it is.
I believe I just heard the greatest master class in shame, guilt, insults, and the motherfucking need to always be motherfucking right.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it could apply to you, I guess.
Yeah, and I said basically everybody, all the guys should have in the comment section sent her a picture of their passports.
Meanwhile, and and she a Democrat too, but here's what they don't. Here's what they don't realize. It's a little low.
A lot low. Okay.
Just look at the hat.
Okay. She a Republican.
Yep.
Okay. She a divester.
Yeah, we can't even hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't know it was that low, but anyway, but they're more like her on this
Oh
app.
yeah. Oh man, you go to Chicago, there's tons of them.
Oh yeah. I keep telling people that try to argue with me on immigration, don't go to Chicago. Please don't go to Chicago, because you're gonna get an earful. But anyway, that debate is what I wanted to show today. Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think that was so important though?
In the grand scheme of things, I have no idea.
Okay. Y'all won't cover this. We didn't even know it happened.
Yeah. That's why I said I was like, I didn't even know it happened. But I looked at it, I was like, oh, let's see what this is about. And they talked about two black men talking about the issues. One was qualified to talk about the issue. The other one, well, wasn't.
Okay, another news. If y'all happen to do anything tomorrow, any of you guys, don't be looking for me because my Houston Texans will be on Thursday Night Football kicking the Jets. And I got to be there to watch that. Catch you guys Friday.
You and Snowman, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Snowman he's on my Texan bandwagon trying to.
Well, he loves Thursday Night Football. So.
Okay.
That's for Sunday.
Yeah, my grandson's a Houston Texan fan. So.
Oh yeah, I knew I liked the cut of his jib.
We were giving him and his father the blues last year.
Yeah, you know my stance. Say, boo.
I know you booing after we just swept y'all and kicked y'all ass thoroughly this past weekend. Yeah, you would be booing. And your quarterback got benched for the old grizzled vet.
Yep.
So, AB, like, what I think that was, like, half of it, or at least, like, a partial of that is, it's a gotcha moment. It's like, you didn't watch this, right? Because, like, actually watching it, like, I'm not sure if that was the whole video that you played. I don't know.
Most of it, yeah.
But basically, like, I don't see anything different, like, in that so-called debate versus, say, like, the Kamala made, where all they did was just talk over him, and somehow she won, right? So, like, that's what it appears to me. It's like, maybe in some people's minds they might see that as a victory, just like talking over somebody, but I don't know.
James, your mic is on.
Oh, my fault, please.
Yeah, I can't wait till next Tuesday. This will all be over with, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or most of it, depending on how long they take to count everything.
We're not gonna get the answer that night.
No, they're gonna be fighting about this till morning.
You don't think so, Thatcher? You don't think it's gonna be called early before 8 o'clock, 8:30?
No, I don't see that.
No.
Here's my question.
Okay, well, I've already told BGS and AB knows. I've already went on record 2.5 weeks ago. I called it, and this is my call. If it don't come, y'all can razz me, y'all can get me. But I predict Trump in the landslide. This is my prediction, Trump in the landslide. Because guess what? Men are tired as hell, and we're not going to take it no more of all races. We're putting our foot down. They don't believe fat meat's going to be greasy. An elephant's heavy, and a full-grown bear will shit in the woods and wipe his ass with a furry white cocktail bunny. You boys just wait. Watch. Okay. Y'all gonna be like, oh, hey, that old dumb trucker was pretty smart. He called a sweep, a landslide sweep.
Man, I mean, if you're gonna vote, man, just vote before the day, man. Make it quick. I mean, I was in and out, man. When I say in and out, it was in and out. Put it
No
in the
more In and
system.
Out than In and Out Burger.
I was quicker than that, man. It was faster than that. I would say the moment I went in, gave them my ID, went to the guy, showed him my thing, gave me the slip, stood there. It was less than 5 minutes, man. For real. Seriously. That's how quick it was.
Can you also present your voter's registration card instead of your identification? Will they honor that?
I have a slip here. So obviously passport. Does it say it on here? I'm not sure.
Registration card.
It says voting person. You must show acceptable ID. Includes obviously license, passport, says etc. I'd probably have to go online to see the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. But mine was very easy, man. They mailed the
ballot.
Yeah, they mailed everything. They say, hey, you could either mail it in or you can come in. Like they put all the dates in. They put everything. It made it real simple, and that's it. They told you where you live, the closest ones there. If you're not in those areas, to go online, they have the QR code. Again, I'm in Arlington, so like we don't fuck around. We don't waste time, man. So that's just how it was. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, BGS, what are your thoughts on the shenanigans over there in Portland, Oregon?
I haven't
burning ballots and stuff.
I've heard it. I haven't done enough research to even know what it's about.
Okay.
I've heard it. I don't know if is that a thing or is that a rumor?
No, it actually happened. They showed the video.
Okay.
So they were burning ballots in the building.
No, there's I guess in Oregon they everybody does it by mail-in ballot. So they have these little boxes.
Oh, so
everywhere.
they torched the mail-in site. Okay. Wow.
Okay, so what was the purpose of them doing that? Like, what are they trying to accomplish?
I don't know. Apparently there was some free Palestine stuff on it, but I've heard other people say it's the Republicans. Like that doesn't make any sense. That is
in Oregon.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, in a clearly blue state, there'd be no advantage of doing that. So even for a congressional seat, it wouldn't be worth it. So like, nah, I don't think it's Republicans, but who knows, man? I think certain people are wilding out, but we'll find out.
That's showing the dude burning the ballots with his little torch. Okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They're looking for somebody in a black car or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Man, people put more energy into the election than they do into their own real life. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they have they've done thrown in $3 billion worth of propaganda into this campaign. So plus whatever. So
saw this other video of this dude attacking a veteran, man. Kicking the sign and shit.
Yeah.
They've let a threaten letter to a veteran. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Is this what we're doing now?
It's really.
Really?
Yeah. It's because it's so they have riled these people up so that people have lost their freaking minds. So I'm glad it'll be when it's over.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time for. BJS, don't you think it'll take quite some time before things die down?
I think it'll die down by inauguration because it'll settle in. Then it doesn't matter, okay? Because whoever your president is who your president is, and basically, even when Trump got elected, I said I don't like to do, but the thing is, I don't want him to fail because if he fails, I fail.
Exactly.
Like what happened last time.
Yeah, whether you like the dude or not, even with Biden, okay, whether you like him or not, if he fails, you fail. So you pray that he succeeds.
It's that simple.
It's like it's giving your enemy the keys to the car and driving you on the freeway. Okay, you can pray for his death, but guess who goes with you?
Me.
With him, yeah. You say, "Mother, I don't like you, but guess what? I hope we get to our destination safely." Okay.
Yeah.
Or to a certain point, unscathed, or unscathed to a certain extent.
And you got Alex. Oh, hate to admit, Hammer personality makes the show interesting and good entertainment. Okay, so you basically you like train wrecks.
Yeah, he like fuckery.
That shit is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
And then
I even had to say, like,
I knew
I even
it,
had to say,
Salchi. I
like,
knew they was wilding out when oh boy did a stream on me talking to Dr. Dunbar about third party. I was like, really? We weren't even talking about
I
anything really.
thought that was Dr. Dunbar is pretty sedate, so I don't know what there is to argue about.
You see,
I
that's
was
what.
actually quite surprised they covered that.
Yeah, but
Go ahead,
they haven't done. We did one on them. They haven't returned the favor yet.
That's why I
By the
unsubscribed
way,
a while ago. I'm all set, man. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I tried.
Well, they did a response video to the one I did at that late night, but
Yeah,
they took it down.
they took it down. Yeah,
Well,
I wonder why.
By the way, AB, thanks for posting up Dr. Dunbar's last video.
Yeah,
I got a chance to
I
subscribe to
shared
the
this
channel, even
last
about mental
video
and such.
talking about black men's health.
Mhm.
We talked about colon cancer, colorectal cancer, which is pretty much cancer of the large intestine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Dr. Dunbar was like, he on his last stream, he was talking about, like, he actually just realized that apparently Chadwick Boseman, that's how he died, is from colorectal cancer.
Yeah.
A lot of people die from that.
The doc is going later today. Well, today, depending on where you live,
Mhm.
Thursday. So he's gonna go get his checkup today or tomorrow, wherever you live at. So
Yeah.
He's in plan.
And one of the reasons
by the way, it's nice. Oh, sorry.
And one of the reasons I shared it is, and I'm being perfectly honest about this. There's no reason why I should have more subscribers than Dr. Dunbar.
Well,
I know.
yeah, because I mean, he understands, and I've talked to him behind closed doors, about that, and he totally gets it. That's just how it is, man.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Well, AB, to be fair, like, Dr. Dunbar has multiple channels, so like if you combine them, right?
Okay, fair enough.
But there would still be overlap though, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Be a lot of
there's still overlap, but he's like purposely trying to, like, compartmentalize these channels, right? Because I mean,
Yeah,
like,
'cause he's
some
a big
overlap
Michigan
is okay,
fan.
but
yeah,
like, you don't want certain people in there, like, on the bullshit, right? Because you say that, like, his mom watches the channel and stuff, right? So
well, remember, I
you
mean,
want
one
certain
his
people over there.
his profession. So that's one big thing, right? And and he's a professional as well. He has a PhD. He's a professional. It's like, I mean, you don't have time for all that BS, man. You just don't.
Well, yeah, of course, his profession. I'm gonna assume that he's not gonna say anything that would affect him, like, career-wise, but
people coming in, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, man.
It's actually probably because of that last video that got reviewed by them guys, because the president, like, showed up in his last stream.
Who?
The president showed up in his last stream.
The president.
Yeah, the president of the Black Manosphere showed up in his last.
Oh, fuck that nigga.
Oh, really?
He's talking about Manna tomorrow.
Well, he allowed him up?
No, he never came on a panel or nothing, but he was in the chat.
Okay, I was about to say, I find that kind of hard to believe the doc will allow him up.
I was kind of surprised he was in the chat, because he was like, I don't fuck with him because he fucks with BGS.
They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere.
I've started using Jimmy Dore's term to define them, the shit libs.
It's crazy. I mean, and that's why I say, if they were so smart and all this other stuff that they project, why would you even have time? And two, like, at this point, you're getting a lot of your content from over here.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, man, I just unsubscribed from the Black Brain Trust, man. Wasting my time. Yeah, I don't have time for all that, man. You can't tell me that you are at a supposed certain level, but you act like that on a regular basis. I don't believe you. Sorry.
I ain't trying to throw no shade at nobody, but like, just when he does like his science and technology streams, like that would be the perfect time to showcase like your intelligence or your knowledge about certain topics or whatever.
Ow. Well, they're not gonna. It makes sense. Why would they show up to a live like that when they don't have the knowledge?
Yeah, well,
they don't have it, and they couldn't bullshit their way around it. That's what the doc does. For
yeah,
a
because the
living.
other day we were, I'm up there with another programmer, and we're talking about AI, and how it's going to affect everything.
Yeah. Times have changed, man. People don't have time for, in my opinion, people don't got time for the BS, man. I've been saying it for the last 2.5 years, man.
You're
Like,
right. We don't have time.
You really don't have time. Like, if y'all, I cannot stress it enough that y'all ain't got time, man. I'm just saying, really don't. The upper echelons, they have already consolidated and they've already moved on. That's what people don't understand. They've already moved on. They're already gone. And people fighting about stuff that's like over. They don't get it. I don't know.
Well, it's time for me to hit that close button. I'd like to thank everybody that came through. This is AB Media 83, and I'm out. Peace. Yo, this is AB Media 83. Want to support the channel? Hit the Cash App. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Also, be sure to hit that bell notification so you can be notified next time I upload a live stream or video. And always remember, keep it grinding, keep it pushing, keep it moving. This is AB Media 83, and I'm out. Peace.